Big drama. FIA Gran Turismo European.
Asia, Oceania, America's regional final champions. Here we go then for the last time.
Big drama. FIA Gran Turismo European.
Asia, Oceania, America's regional final champions. Here we go then for the last time.
Big drama. FIA Gran Turismo European.
Asia, Oceania, America's regional final champions.
Time to decide who is going to walk away with that trophy. Yes, welcome to Monaco live for the FIA certified Gran Turismo Championships Nations Cup Grand Final. My name's Chris McCarthy.
And my name is Jimmy Broadbent. Yes, thousands of hours of planning, production and gameplay have gone into these events. Let's see who's going to be crowned champion.
Einen Europameistertitel konnte Hisal uns schon nach Deutschland bringen. Kann es auch der Weltmeistertitel sein? Das werden wir heute Abend herausfinden. Mein Name ist René Butler.
Und ich bin Florian Strauß. Wir kommentieren natürlich auch live wieder den dritten Tag für euch hier aus Monaco. Nur noch die 16 Besten der Welt kämpfen in 4 spannenden Rennen um den Titel.
Bienvenue ici à Monaco pour la finale de la Nations Cup du FIA GT Championship. Vous le savez, il n'y a plus de Français en lice, mais un concurrent nous a offert un podium hier, et rien que pour ça, allez Yamanaka!
Benvenuti alla finale Nations Cup per questo FIA GT Sport World Championship. Sarà una battaglia, nessuno sa chi vincerà, ma una cosa è certa, nessuno mollerà mai, Emilio.
I magnifici 16 e fra loro un italiano partirà dal fondo della griglia della classifica, ma Giorgio Mangano ci ha abituati a delle imprese, quindi forza Giorgio e vinca il migliore.
Todo preparado para la gran fiesta del motor. Bienvenidos a la FIA Gran Turismo Championship. Que ruja España, que ruja Latinoamérica. Soy MC Epsilon, para mí es un placer estar aquí con todos ustedes y a mi lado el grandísimo Lucas Ordóñez.
Hola Epsilon, hola a todos. Muchísimas ganas ya de conocer al primer campeón del mundo, así que fuerza con todos.
Boa tarde a todos, o meu nome é Eduardo Félix da Costa. Estamos no Mónaco e hoje vamos encontrar o campeão do mundo de Gran Turismo.
É verdade, Duarte, chegou o grande dia, já chega de eliminatórias. Hoje vamos saber quem é o grande campeão. Infelizmente não temos nenhum português apurado para a final, mas vamos ter sim 2 grandes brasileiros e nós vamos estar a torcer por eles. Fiquem aí.
as you're probably aware by now, we are in one of the most iconic racing cities in the entire world, Monte Carlo. And if you've been joining us up until this point, you know that we've had some pretty spectacular racing. Isn't that right, Matt?
Yep, Julia, I think it's fair to say that in the Nations Cup and in the Manufacturers Series as well, so far, the racing has been pretty much off the scale.
Now heavy braking down into the right hand, and we now BMW down to 12, down to 13, 14.
We've seen manufacturers go head-to-head.
Yes, in a 1-hour nail-biting endurance race that saw Team Lexus crowned the Manufacturers Series champions.
Lexus are the FIA GT World Final champions.
And on Friday, the semi-finals of the Nations Cup went down.
Ups, downs, crashes, passes and penalties. We've almost seen it all.
Here comes Brooks down the inside. Oh!
Many of you have been with us from the start, but if you haven't been, the best is yet to come.
Yeah, will Igor Fraga's exceptional IRL and in-game driving skills be enough to beat the unerring consistency of the German Michael Hizal? Or will we see a surprise, someone like Hungary's Patrick Blaža?
Well, we are about to find out as this is the FIA certified Gran Turismo Championships Nations Cup World Final. I mean, I know that we have like some of the best drivers in the entire world in this room right now, but can they drive in the heels that I am wearing this evening? Because let me tell you, that was incredibly difficult to drive that car and also get out of it without a moderate accident.
That's going to be the challenge for next year. Never mind these different races. We're going to get all these guys to see if they can drive a GT3 car in heels. Why not?
I mean,
you did it. Well done.
Tell me you wouldn't watch that.
To be honest, I lost the sweepstake. I thought you were going to crash, I must say.
Outrageous.
Sorry.
No, I think the guys in the track also were in on that, Matt. So
thanks
very much. Cheers, guys. A lot of faith in my driving skills. Right. So obviously today is the culmination of over a year of hard work for some of these drivers. They have been training hard to make it to this moment to walk away with this Nations Cup. Everything to play for today. No goers of a repechage race here. They've got to bring it all to the line every single race. Why don't we take a look how this is going to play out?
Yeah, so we started out with literally thousands of online players all over the world and initially reduced it to 90 with 30 drivers taking part in 3 regional finals. We took our first 10 from the Asia and Oceania finals in Tokyo, then made it 20 at the European finals in Madrid, and our final lineup here in Monaco was completed at the Americas finals in Las Vegas. We've seen some unbelievable racing all over the world. It's continued here in Monte Carlo, and we just cannot wait to see what happens here tonight.
Well, we just don't know. Everything we think is going to happen doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. And you know what the big thing is? We saw a fantastic Manufacturers Series yesterday, and these guys in that series in particular, and online as well, they get to choose their cars. They all have their favourites. They've come top of the rankings in their favourite cars and on their favourite tracks. But here in the Nations Cup, we saw it in the semi-finals as well. The cars are drawn at random. The guys, with one of the tracks tonight, they've never even raced it before. So it's all about who can adapt the quickest. It tests a different skill set to what these guys can do at home and what you guys can do at home on your PlayStations as well.
Well, yeah, this is it. So why don't we take a look on how we got to this point with a bit of a semi-final recap, just so we can see what's going on here.
Yeah, well, this all took place on Friday evening. You can watch these races in full still online if you want to, but it was an awesome race. Igor Fraga, the Americas champion, escaped at the front, but there was an awesome battle for second place between Coque Lopez and Jeffrey Gallan as well from Canada, but it was Igor Fraga who took the win and 10 points from the Group A race. Then in Group B, our Asia's champion, Ryota Kokuban, had another great battle head-to-head with the European champion, Michael Hizal. This was the one that we all wanted to see. The boys delivered, but it was Hizal in the end who took the victory. Then in the repechage race, for anybody who finished outside the top 6 in those group races, one of those was Adam Sassuolo, which was a big shock, and he almost went out in the repechage as well. The top 4 were the boys who were going to go through from this one to the final, and after an epic battle with Carlos Salazar right down to the final lap, Sassuolo joined Latkovsky, Rubilar and Mangano in tonight's final.
Yeah, it's been pretty much non-stop. In fact, every single race has been nail-bitingly close, and there's been a lot of fights
And everything's been on the line as well, Julia, you know, because these guys have worked so hard, as you said, to get here. They've had such a wonderful time, but they don't want to go home, you know? They want to make it through to tonight.
I don't want to go home, and I'm not even racing. It's
no,
lovely.
I don't ever want to go home
here.
from here. It's lovely, yeah, very nice.
So why don't we explain a little bit of the structure and the schedule of how today's going to pan out for you. Let's take a look. So, yeah, we're going to be having a few races today. Matt, fill us in the details.
Well, we sure are. As I said, we had 30 drivers who made it here to Monaco. We're down to our last 16 now after a stunning day of action on Friday when 6 came through each semi-final group race and a further 4 from that dramatic repechage. They also scored points in those races, so 4 races today and the cumulative points score from Friday and this evening to decide our overall Nations Cup champion.
It's pretty straightforward there.
It's pretty straightforward, yeah. There's, like you said, there's no repechage, there's no second chances right now. It's an accumulative point score over 4 races. Double points in the final race, by the way, as well.
Final
so
race.
Just a little extra twist at the end.
Oh, that final race is always a nail-bitingly close one. So we actually go out with on our commentary in a lot of different languages, and we've added a new one into the mix this time, which is Portuguese. And actually, we're going to go and talk to one of our Portuguese commentators, Felipe, right now. How are you doing in the booth?
Very well, very comfortable. Hello, everyone.
Hey, look at you, all the way back there. You look very comfy. We're not allowed to sit in chairs. So obviously, you actually drive in real life as well. Have there been any particular drivers who really caught your eye?
Yeah, I mean, I think it caught my eye and many other guys. Is the Igor Fraga from Brazil. He did a fantastic job so far. I mean, today is the final. I think the nerves of everyone will be up there, and we don't know how they're going to handle that pressure because it's the same for everyone. But we saw as well Rubilar being very, very fast in the race of nations yesterday of the manufacturer. So we for sure he has a voice to do the final. Let's see.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. So Fraga's been very, very consistent. Rubilar has kind of been, you know, up and down a little bit. What's your kind of read on Hizal? How do you think he's going to do?
Well, I think everything is open now because everyone that is in here, they prove that they are very quick. I think, as we've seen yesterday in Nürburgring, who does less mistakes is the one that is more ahead. You can be very fast for 1 lap, but then if you do a mistake after 1 or 2 laps, then all the advantage that you are having, like 2 tenths per lap, 2 tenths, and then you just do a mistake and all goes away in a couple of laps. So it needs to be cold head, but again, the winner here has a huge thing to prove, and I think the nerves goes again and the emotions, and I think they go for that for the first time, and we need to see who does less mistakes and obviously on the limit.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Felipe, for chatting to us. Have a really, really good races. Enjoy your commentary. And why don't we take a look now at exactly where all of those drivers are in the standings of the qualifiers. Let's take a quick look here.
Yeah, well, Felipe knows the score. Igor Fraga was the fastest.
Well, thank you.
Fine, also winner of that Group A race, 10 points, but it's more complicated than that. As he said, look out for my tip from 5th place there. Jeffrey Galland from Canada finished 2nd in the group race. He starts, as I said, 5th on the grid. Britain's Adam Siswillo there in 8th. We talked about Mikael Hizal, the European champion. He won his group race to take 10 points into tonight, but he starts from 10th, so he's got his work cut out. And watch out as well for Patrick Blajan and for Giorgio Mangano as well from the back of the grid.
They're not going to take it lying down at all.
No, well, they're both aggressive drivers. They've both got good form. Blajan did really well in Salzburg, didn't he, in the World Tour event earlier this year, and they're really exciting drivers to watch. So,
I mean, you know, like, if you're going to be aggressive, now's kind of the time, right?
Yeah, now or never, basically, yeah. So watch out from those 2 guys for the back of the grid. So without further ado, I think it's time to welcome our drivers now, the FIA Certified Gran Turismo Championships Nations Cup Class of 2018. Please welcome your drivers. From Italy, we just talked about him right now, Giorgio 57 Mangano. And from Hungary, Patrick Fuvaros Blajan. From Hong Kong, winner of the 2nd race in the Asia's final, please welcome Jonathan Wong. Also from Hong Kong, representing Yat Lam Lo. And the Spanish sensation from the Madrid finals. What a performance it was to get here tonight. Coque Lopez. He's a man from down under, the winner of yesterday's repechage race from Australia, Cody Latkovsky. And the winner of all 3 races in the Madrid finals, our European champion, Mikael Lightning Hizar. We had 4 representatives from Japan in these World Finals here. Please welcome one of them, Tomoaki Yamanaka. And from the GT Academy class of 2013 from the UK, Adam Suswillo. And now all the way from Chile, the star of the manufacturers race yesterday. What a performance that was from Nico Rubila. Please give a warm welcome to our Asia and Oceania champion from Japan, Ryota Kokubun. And before the Americas finals in Las Vegas, he'd never left Canada. Now he's here in the World Finals in Monaco, Jeffrey Galland. From Santiago, Chile, second in the Americas finals, it's Fabian McQueen Portilla. Also from South America, strong presence tonight from Belo Horizonte in Brazil, Adriano Caraza. Another Japanese driver tonight representing all the way here in Monaco, Shogo Yoshida. And on pole position tonight, our America's champion and the Group A race winner, Igor Fraga. Ladies and gents, that's your Nations Cup class of 2018. Please be upstanding, everybody, here in the auditorium for the national anthem of Monaco.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it is all about, the FIA Gran Turismo Championships for 2018. Here we go then, and we're off away in racing. Who's going to emerge from the lead in all of this? What a fantastic move, but the race is not over yet. Oh, no, it's over! He has to keep them at bay. Oh, but he's running a bit wide. They're still side by side.
This is fantastic driving.
Can't ask for much more than that.
Wow, I'm super excited to get this thing kicked off. Why don't we get underway with a bit more into the nitty-gritty? So I believe Matt had a bit of a chat yesterday to find out a little bit more about our first track that's in our race one.
Well, of course, the opportunity to be amongst the first players in the world to try a new circuit on Gran Turismo is a huge honour for these drivers. We have Yamanaka-san here, and of course to do it in a world final as well. You must be so excited about this.
そうですね、本当に一番最初に、新しいコースを、走るということでとても嬉しく思っています。やっぱりこうグランツーリスモってすごい美しいその景色だったりとかっていうのを楽しむことができるので、そうですね、ただレースなので、今回はそのコースに対して真剣にアプローチしないといけないですけど、そうですね、本当に最初にプレーできることにこう誇りを感じています。
So to be driving a circuit that you don't know in a world final as well, what's your approach going to be to learning the circuit as fast as you can?
そうですね、速く走るためには、まずは 100% でいかないことっていうのが大事だと思っていて、その着実にどこをどのようにこう綺麗に走ったらいいのか、無駄がないように走るためにどうやってアプローチしたらいいのかっていうのを考えて走ろうと思ってます。
It's a big challenge. Good luck.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best. So the Tokyo Expressway South Inner Loop, a new track for the drivers and for you guys at home as well. Here's a first look. Then being an expressway, it's obviously tight, effectively 2 lanes wide with little or no runoff or room for error. It's also fast, really fast, with a couple of long straights followed by tight corners. Check out turns 1 and 2, the hairpin at turn 11, and some mega quick kinks as well there at 7 and 8. That section as well, look at that, from 13 through 16, fast and flowing. And I reckon plenty of potential here, Julia, to keep the stewards busy tonight.
That looks absolutely mad. That's insane.
Yeah.
Look at that. What?
It's fast, it's twisty, it's tight. And like I said, you know, these guys, they've got to make ground up. The pressure's on them. So I think the stewards, good luck, guys, because there might be some contact in this one, I think.
Just a little bit, maybe. So we'd love to know what you guys think at home. Hit us up using the hashtag FIA, GTC and GT Sport. We want to know what car you want to race on this brand new track when it updates in December. So I think we should get on to the next bit, which is, of course, the tyre strategy. Now, this is a crucial part of any race that we have in the Nations Cup. Why don't we take a look at how this is going to break down?
Yeah, it's a crucial part of any race. It's a tricky one as well for these drivers to call because, of course, they've not really been on this track before. They had a little bit of time to practice earlier on. As Julie said, we want to know which car you would choose to race this track. But tyre-wise, yeah, expect the guys at the front probably to go with softs and try and make a break. The guys further back might not want to think about the hards and might want to think about the hards in the early stages, because what they don't want to do, because it is tight, because there's not a lot of places to pass, and because they don't know where they're going to pass, they don't want to be wasting the soft tyres early in the race if they've got people to pass. Yeah, so I think what we might see here is guys at the front going on the softs, maybe the guys in the middle going on the mediums, and the guys at the back going on the hards.
Well, OK, tyres is one thing. Let's take a look at the cars.
Yeah, OK, so this is the M500 class, all right? So these are normal road cars tuned to around 500 horsepower. And when, of course, I say normal, I mean that in the very much in the Gran Turismo sense of the word. The likes of McLaren F1 car here, in stock condition, tuned down a little bit in the case of the F1 car to around 500 horsepower. BMW M4 would be tuned up. So they're all similar in terms of horsepower, not necessarily in terms of performance, because, of course, they all work in different ways. But look out for Jonathan Wong in the Ford GT. That car has some serious straight line speed. And this track, as we've already seen, has some seriously long straights.
It does. I'm actually really excited to see this because this is all about adaptability as well. It's like, boom, new track, off you go.
Yeah, exactly. This is the ultimate test of adaptability. It's the one key characteristic, I think, that tonight in general is going to separate the wheat from the chaff, as it were.
Ooh, okay, fancy.
It's all wheat, really, and there's no chaff in there. You know what I mean?
All right, don't dig yourself a hole. Right, let's get this first race kicked off. We'll chuck it over to our commentators.
Thank you, Julia. Well, here we go. Grand finals time, Jimmy. I think before we go anywhere, we have to apologise to the viewers for the dab of Adam Sassuolo. And if you're offended, I honestly, wholeheartedly apologise. Let's talk about the standings coming into this. We've had the semi-finals. Of course, we've driven the track as well in the commentators' race, which we'll get into in a bit. But points have been awarded in the semi-finals and in the repechage as well. Here they are on screen for you. So Fraga and Izal, who both took wins in semi-finals, got 10 points each. Cockburn and Lopez were both second, 9 points apiece, and it went on from there. So Yoshida and Gallen were third in their respected semi-finals. There's the rest of the points at the moment. We have Yamanaka, Law, Karatsa, Blashan, Latkovsky, Rubelar, Mangano. Sassuolo down at the back there just got through in the repechage, took 1 point in the process. Jimmy, what were your thoughts on the track? We drove it in that commentator's race. I mean, of course, that wasn't a proper test. It was a bit of a crash fest, let's be honest. But what did you think of it?
I'm always glad to say that the commentator races don't tend to end up anywhere you can watch. It's very embarrassing. But a very fast-flowing circuit, broken up by a couple of tight hairpin turns and quite narrow in places too. Overtaking here is pretty much reserved for the tighter corners. But now, let's head to the race and see how our drivers deal with it.
Right then, it's time to go racing for the first time in the Nations Cup World Final. On pole position, it's going to be Igor Fraga, the Brazilian. Second place, Shogo Yoshida. Then in third place, as we get ready to go racing for the first time around Tokyo Expressway South at Inner Loop, it's Adriano Carazza. Then we have Fabian Portilla, the Chilean, starting in fourth place in the Lexus. Starting fifth is Jeffrey Gallen. Then we have in sixth place Ryoto Kokibun in the Honda NSX. Just to remind you, the cars were picked at random. Seventh place is Nicolas Rubelar in the Maserati. Eighth place, it is going to be Adam Sassuolo. This grid was formed, of course, of qualifying on Friday. Tomoaki Yamanaka is in the Jaguar F-Type, starting ninth place. 10th place, it is Mick Hazal, most certainly one to watch, having won his semi-final earlier in the week. There is Cody Nikola Latkovsky, potentially one to watch today. Then we have Jorge Lopez in the Lamborghini Diablo in 12th place. 13th, it is Yat Lamlaw, one of two drivers from Hong Kong to have made the finals. Jonathan Wong, there's the next one. He is 14th in that Ford GT. Then 15th, we have Patrick Blashan, the Hungarian in the Nissan GTR Nismo. And starting at the back of the field, Giorgio Mangano in the Mercedes-Benz AMG GT. I spoke to some of the drivers earlier. Cars to watch out for could be the M4 Corvette and of course that McLaren which won in Madrid. A lot of drivers at the front there going for the softs, some for the medium at the back. It's going to be a 7-lap race. All drivers have to use 2 types of tyre, so one stop we are expecting in this one. Jimmy, over to you for the race start.
We're already seeing just how narrow this circuit is as our drivers make their way to the start-finish line. Of course, also look out for that brand new F50 in the hands of Shogo Yoshida there in glorious Ferrari red. Coming round the last corner now onto what is essentially the front straight. I use that term loosely because it's not quite straight. You can see from here. And Igor Fraga will lead us off in the BMW M4. First race here of the FIA GT Championship World Final is about to get underway. The drivers just steadying themselves. Here we go then, guys. Igor Fraga will lead us off. 3, 2, 1. And away we go here at Monaco. Igor Fraga will lead us from Shogo Yoshida, Carazza third, Portilla fourth, Gallen fifth. Down towards T1, a long left-hander. Carazza already looking to the inside of Yoshida, and he goes up to second place before we even got to T1. Yoshida pushed wide in the Ferrari, and then put it to the Armco. Sparks fly off on the side of that Ferrari. That's going to be very expensive for the owner of that car, but now we run all the way down to the hairpin. This is where we want to try and slipstream, get yourself to the inside before our first heavy braking. So Yoshida still on the inside. Here we go, then Fraga leads. Carazza second, Yoshida third, and Portilla fourth. Let's look to our standings for the the left, see if anyone goes right, and that is Portier, goes very wide. I think he's run into the wall. There he is, there, the Chilean driver sliding out of the right-hander, and now coming through the shipping container. It looks like Jeff Gallen has gone down to last. A terrible start for the Canadian.
Yeah, he's off the back of the field as well, Gallen. Patrick Blachan, I think, got caught up in something. Mick Hizal has picked up a penalty, so, well, Mick Hizal's chances of overall victory have just taken a slight knock there. Now we've had an incident involving Gallen and Cockeben, so Cockeben, the other driver involved in that incident, which has seen Gallen drop to the back of the field, but we won't comment any further because we don't know any more about it just yet. Right, we are going to be approaching a very tight hairpin shortly, and Igor Fraga is away and clear, so no need to defend for him. Karatsa likewise, it could be close for fourth place. Top three are escaping here. Here we go through the hairpin. Hizal's dropped to place to Latkovsky. Lopez in ninth. I think Mangano's come up to 11th place, and Hizal back up to 6th, going past Yamanaka and Latkovsky.
So in the background there, Yamanaka and Hizal are trading places. Unfortunately, we don't have the camera angle right now. Here's Portier in the LC400 Lexus. And there is Latkovsky there, side by side with Hizal to the inside. And that McLaren F1, he takes the position of Mick Hizal, who's driving the Porsche. But Hizal, of course, does have a penalty, starting in 10th position, so it's made up 2. And Cockeben, our Asia Oceania regional champion, has been given a 2-second penalty for colliding with another car. That is very much unlike the Japanese driver.
Yeah, he's on 9 points at the moment, but any chance of him making a huge improvement of that have just taken a twist. Now, Gallen there was just attempting to go around the outside of Yatlam Law, and I think he pulled the move off. Fraga has stayed out of trouble and stayed out front. Now, we've got lots of drivers on soft tyres, Jimmy. We're expecting them to use soft and medium. When are we expecting pit stops in this race?
Yeah, of course, only one. Oh, well, we'll come back to that in a second.
Yeah,
we have 4 cars all together. They're pretty much pushing each other down the straight at the moment. There is Rubelar behind there, coming up behind his compatriot. Goes to the outside, though, and as you get loosened out with the brakes, so Yamanaka, who sends one up the inside there in the Jaguar F-Type, now looks to the inside of Portier on the LC400. A little bit robust there from Yamanaka. We had come to expect that from a Japanese driver, but he takes the place, and up to 4th he goes, down to 5th goes Portier. In the meanwhile, Rubelar and Latkovsky are still side by side, and Hizal is just about to serve his penalty now.
Tomoaki Yamanaka trying to pull off moves that I attempted in the commentators race and went very wrong, but that fantastic driving from Yamanaka moves up a position. Yamanaka is on 6 points at the moment, so this a very good drive from him so far. Nicholas Rubelar and Latkovsky side by side through the tunnel. Rubelar just grazing the wall there. He may have to defend as we approach the hairpin. Latkovsky could look to the outside here. Hizal has now served his penalty. Watch for him to come back into play. Let's see if we have any moves going on. Latkovsky does look to the outside, but I think he's also aware of Hizal behind Jimmy and took the middle of the road. Oh, someone running.
Lopez.
Lopez in.
He's gone into the pit lane straight away. He's starting the medium tyres. He's switching to the soft nice and early. Now, these are sport soft tyres he's going on, not racing soft tyres. So he's going to try and make those run until the end now, which is going to be a hell of an ask for those soft tyres. In comes someone from Wong as well. Now, you're going to have to see this as a very large undercut attempt from both Lopez and Wong. Whether it will pay off or not remains to be seen, especially around here. Being in the slipstream can definitely help more lap times. We look to top of the field. Fraga has pulled a 2.5-second gap over his countryman Karatsa. Yoshida in 1st with Yamanaka in 4th and Portier and Rubelar in 5th and 6th. So Brazilian, Japanese, and then Chilean. Are your top 6. Here is the 5th position driver, Portier, right now. A little bit of oversteer there. Best way to get this car around the corners is a little bit of a slide. You're seeing a lot of drivers do that 4-wheel sliding round here. Of course, not very much air on these cars. All about trying to get a little bit of slip angle to get around the corner in the fastest possible time.
We've got a very close battle for second going on, and here it is. Karatsa and Yoshida. Yoshida looking to the outside of the Brazilian. At the moment, this would be a very good result for Karatsa, considering he is on 5 points. Yoshida, meanwhile, he is currently on 8 points, so this would reduce the deficit to Igor Fraga if he could get into second place and take the 10 points that go along with it. 12 points at the moment would be going to Igor Fraga as they now come through the right-hander. They're approaching the tunnel, so we've got a leader out front, a battle for second. Yamanaka in a lonely 4th place. Cody Nikolakowski has just picked up a penalty, the Australian. We're not too sure what that is for, but he is in a close battle with Mick Hizal and Fabien Bourtier. Are we going to see anyone into the pits this time? Because we were told that 3 laps is probably perhaps the most you'll get out of the soft tyre.
Oh, Carrazza getting very sideways there, maybe confirming what you were thinking there, Chris. Soft tyre is starting to go the other way. Let's see what Igor Fraga Ali does. Pit lane there is on the left. No, he goes around one more time. Here comes Carrazza and Yoshida. They're both going to stay out. And that Ferrari F50 has got quite a bit of grunt there. V12 engine in the F50. Right on the back of the Aston Martin DB11, old versus new. I know which one I'd go with if I had the money, but I definitely don't.
I was going to say, that's the new car, isn't it?
Yeah, F50 is our new car. I'm also seeing input there from Shogo Yoshida to the right of the screen and seeing both Carrazza and Yoshida work away. Look at the different driving styles there. Carrazza really soaring at the wheel, whereas Yoshida was saying that now he's doing the same thing. Maybe that's the best way to drive this car out here. Carrazza's a little bit slow off the last corner, and here comes Yoshida. He'll drive past there with the momentum. In the background, Yamanaka's still there as well. But that DB11 is holding on. They're going to go side by side all the way up to T1 now. Again, not really a straight up here. Yoshida looks like he just about has legs balls ahead for now, but he's going to have to keep an eye on his mirror coming down to the hairpin.
Yeah, Tomoaki Yamanaka is closing in. Latkowski yet to serve his penalty. Mick Hizal should breeze past once that happens. Bourtier is 7th now. Lopez in 13th place. He's closing in. He's the first of the drivers to stop. Wong and Lamlaw likewise. Let's go back to this battle because Carrazza there thought he was going to attempt to take that 2nd place back from Yoshida. Have we had any changes further back? Well, let's see. That's Latkowski. He runs a little bit wide. I think that was on his own accord, and Hizal goes through to take 5th place. So Hizal on a recovery after an earlier penalty. He's back up to 5th, and then we have this battle for 7th going on between the likes of Portier, Rubelar, Sasquillo and Mangano closing in as well.
Mangano making his way up the field after starting right dead last up to P10, so a great drive from the Italian driver so far. We've seen him do this at, in other live events such as Madrid, where he came from essentially last on the grid up to P2 for the end. Mick Hizal, importantly for his chances tonight, up to 5th position. He started 10th, so he's gained 5 places, has the German. Will he gain any higher? Here comes Igor Fraga. Now, will he peel over to the left-hand side on the course? Into the pit lane? No. Goes round. Again, looks like the strategy here is to make the soft tyres last. Carrazza takes a very good hard look there at the back of the Ferrari, but doesn't go for the pass. And Hizal and Latkowski back together again. These guys cannot be separated.
Well, for any of our new viewers, we'll come to the pit stops in a sec. Just to update you, the grid for the next race is set of the results of this race. So for someone like Kokibun, this is a disaster because he won't be having a bad race here. His next race will mean he has to start towards the back. Now, Jimmy, we had some pit stops going on there.
We did. We had both Mangano and Sasquillo come into the pit lane. So has Ryoto Kokibun, who's having a bit of a tough time of things out there at the moment, it has to be said. We'll focus on our battle right here, though, between, wow, Hizal touching the barrier with the rear end of that Porsche. That's how you drift. Showing off there for the people at home, but that's not the fastest way around the track. Here comes Latkowski in that mighty McLaren F1. Look at it there. Such an aggressive stance on that car. We come into the first left-hand along. Let's see Hizal there. Hizal again sideways. The MR layout of that Porsche, I guess it's really rear-end in that car, is improving a little bit too much. But here we go then, coming up to the hairpin. You know, Latkowski likes to have a look when he can to the central seating position there for McLaren F1. One of its highlights, I think, there is Mick Hizal on the right. Here comes Yamanaka on Yoshida. Up the inside. Yoshida's lost 2 positions. Oh, sorry, he was 3rd. Apologies.
And Yamanaka repeating the move he did earlier. Is he going to get 2 for 1? No. Well, he attempted it, but Yamanaka there up to 3rd place. So brilliant driving this. He's absolutely flying. How is he managing these soft tyres so well, Jimmy, yet making places?
That is something that I would love to tell you, Chris. But if I were out there doing it, I'd be on the rim by now, I think. But here you are, we have Carrazza, Yamanaka, Yoshida all coming towards the camera right now. There is Yoshida, the back of that glorious looking Ferrari F50. I must say, as I get a little bit older, I kind of like the F50 more and more. Very nice looking car indeed. Now again, Igor Fraga, 7 seconds up the road from anybody else, doing what he does best, is pulling away. Will he come to the pit lane? No, he goes around again. Now a reminder, he does have to make one mandatory pit stop. He can use pretty much Karat's taking a very, yep, he's coming in, so he's getting some new boots for that DB11. You can see it, the pit lane now is essentially an underground car park. So make sure not to park your car in there on race weekend.
Yeah, well, Karatsa in and then back out again as quick as you like. Rubler has gone up to 6th place. Also in was Fabian Portilla. We've had Gallant come in as well. So not yet to come in, of course, on the top 6. Plus, let's have a look. Portilla, I don't think has stopped unless that's yet to be updated, but certainly the top 6 yet to come in. Here is Portilla and Siswillo, nose to tail, as they come through that long right-hander now and into the sharp left. This is a very quick section of the circuit. Mangano just ahead of us. So whilst these guys are battling, they're just allowing Mangano to get away. They're all on the same strategy. These guys, they've all made one stop, but Mangano seems to be pulling away. Right, let's go back to Mick Hizal, TRL Lightning. He is closing in on Latkovsky. Ahead of this though, Yoshida and Yamanaka. Nose to tail as they go down under the bridge. They're approaching the double right-hander. Let's see if Yamanaka this time will be passed into this corner rather than overtake anyone. No, he hangs on to that place for now. So 2nd place it is still for Yamanaka. Yoshida 3rd, Latkovsky 4th, Hizal then in 5th. Fraga out front by now, 8 seconds.
What I love is we have a 2015 Jaguar being chased by a 1995 Ferrari and 500 class. I always love it for that, of course. Some people have their criticisms, of course, but in this event, I just really love the format. Looking back there from the Jaguar, looking back and seeing an F50 McLaren F1 car must be a little bit intimidating for Yamanaka. Of course, did so well yesterday in the Manufacturers' Cup, securing 2nd place for Toyota. He'll be looking to go one better here today, but to do that, he's got to gain 8 seconds with Igor Fraga, who is surely coming into the pit lane this time around. Yes, he does. Peels into the pit lane, only doing 1 lap on that medium tyre.
Yeah, well, that's a bold strategy from Fraga, but I guess he made those tyres last, so expertise shown from Igor Fraga there. That's why these guys are the best in the world. We've got Yoshida, Hizal, Yamanaka, Latkovsky. They're all coming in. Tyre strategy on screen.
You can see why no one's picking the hard tyre, a lot slower than the rest. Everyone's in on this last lap, really trying to make the best of the soft tyre. It's literally just a rush onto the medium tyre. 6 laps. Some of these people were making these tyres last, and they were meant to only last 3. Best of the best, all I can say.
5-point ranking there to the right of screen. We've got Fraga now up to 22 points, Karatsa 15, Yoshida 15, Yamanaka 14, Lopez 14. That is live, of course, and yet to be decided because we still have this lap and one more to go. Lopez on that soft tyre, he is in this queue, so he came into the pits very early, Jimmy, in attempt to do the undercut. That seems to be paying off at the moment. He's moving through the field and has a chance here as we go on to the final lap to move forward even more.
Well, as we said at the start of this race, overtaking round here is quite difficult, but if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Jorge Lopez there in that Lamborghini Diablo in 6th position, just behind this car, Cody Latkovsky in the McLaren F1, Yoshida in front, eyeing up his countryman down into the heavy braking zone. I don't think he's going to try it right now, but Latkovsky gaining on the brakes, can almost reach out and touch the back of that F50, looks up the inside, a bit of contact with Yoshida, who's just about keeping things under wraps. Look at that thing slide, Chris.
Well, there we go, on board with Latkovsky. We came very close to passing Yoshida, but wasn't quite able to pull the move off. He's going to have that hairpin towards the end of the lap. It's not quite the last corner, but it is right by the pit lane entry. Latkovsky, that will probably be his best chance here to go for the move. Fraga remains 7.6 seconds in the lead from Karatsa. Then it's Yamanaka, Yoshida and Latkovsky. But watch for Lopez as well on this final lap on those soft tyres. They may be worn, but they should effectively still be quicker.
Now this is going to be probably the last chance to overtake here. Coming down to the airpin, Latkovsky goes to the inside of Yoshida, It's going to have to be the latest of the late breakers to get that done. He goes up the inside, dives there. He's there on the inside, but he'll go wide on exit. He can't get the car slowed down, understeers. Here comes Lopez through as well. Will he get Lukowski? McLaren versus Lamborghini Diablo Drag Race. Lukowski does come out in front, keeping P5 for now, but Yoshida is given a moment of respite as our leader, Igor Fraga, is about to come round the last corner. So we'll keep an eye on that, but the battle's still raging for 4th and 5th position. And here comes Igor Fraga, doing what he does best, leading from the front. Igor Fraga wins the first race of the FIA GT Championship Nations Cup World Final and is followed home by his countryman Karatsa in the DB11. Yamanaka in 3rd position and drags the line. Lukowski has got ahead into 4th, Yoshida 5th, and Lopez just 6th with Mick Hazal starting from 10th and finishing in 7th position. Giorgio Mangano, who started last, up to 8th. A great effort from the Italian driver.
Well, Hisawa could have been better without that earlier penalty. Mangano moves up to 8th. There's Igor Fraga. He knows the job is far from done yet. He may have won this first race, but there is still 3 races to go, including the double points one at the end. So Igor Fraga, that's, I think, why there is no celebrations from him just yet. But a fantastic race. There you go. That is Tokyo Expressway South Inner Loop. What do you think of it? Good. I think it provided good racing, right? 2 major overtaking opportunities. And it did prove out that these guys can make that soft tyre work, you know, make it last for a long time.
Well, that was a big surprise for me, Chris, actually seeing that soft tyre go that long. Again, some people, 6 laps, and it doubled the length of what we saw happening up. Now, we do have some replays coming up on screen. There is Fabian Portilla in the car right now. You see going wide at the start of the race. Yamanaka sliding up the inside as Jakovic. Hasn't been able to invite him twice, and that kind of left him the door open for Latkovsky behind. He couldn't quite make it work. There is Yoshida looking quite worried, actually, but I think that's just his driving face.
Yeah, that was Yoshida. I think that was him when he was about to try and make this move on Karatsa, but that wasn't to pay off at that moment in time, but the two did remain side by side, and Yoshida would eventually get through into 2nd place. Whilst all this was going on, Yamanaka was closing in. Behind Latkovsky was falling back at the expense of Mick Hazal, and I think we're going to see a frustrated Latkovsky, are we? Oh no, actually remained very calm despite what was going on around him. And then this was his attempted move on Yoshida, which just didn't quite work out.
It would have been very easy for him to turn Yoshida there, but backed out of it, and here was the last lap lunge down to the hairpin. Understeer there, front tyres didn't quite have enough grip there. At this point, Lukowski was down to 5th, but he managed to actually claw it back and get past Yoshida before coming over the start-finish line. That was Fraga, of course, and a sigh of relief from the Brazilian. But as you said, Chris, long way to go for him.
Yep, we've still got 3 races yet to go. We're going to have a look at the standings in just a second to give you an idea of who is on what points, because we've already had points coming into this. That's confirmation of race 1 results. So Fraga takes 12 points in the win. Then it's Karatsa, Yamanaka, Latkovsky, Yoshida, Lopez, Hazal, Mangano with 3 points. Then we had Portilla and Sassuolo 2 and 1 point respectively. Missing out on points, some big names in Kokobun, Gallen, Wong, and then we had Latlon, Fraga, and, well, not Fraga, that's Patrick Blasham, sorry, and Nicholas Rubelar. So some big names towards the back of the field there, actually. That means now that they're going to have to start at the back for the next race as well. So that's making their chances of winning this very, very slim, I think, because Fraga is already getting away on points.
Yeah, definitely a difficult race ahead for the guys at the back. But let's toss to Julia, see her thoughts on the race.
Wow, it's like they just knew something we didn't. Honestly, that tyre strategy was just incredible. We were asking you guys at home on socials just exactly what car you'll be taking to this new track once it's released in December, and we've got a little bit of feedback from there. So definitely the Lexus LC500. It's a great tourer and to take to city courses. I could take your word for it. And we got Jose Sejlan, and we've got, I've been falling in love with the Toyota SFR Racing Concept 16. That will probably be the very first car that I use. I always find it's very distracting when you play like a new track like that, because you're kind of constantly like looking around, and I'm just easily distracted by nice buildings. That's just me though. So keep the questions coming in using the hashtag FIA GTC and GT Sport. We'll have some more of those a little bit later on. Now, We had a very special guest come and join us for a little bit. Yes, I know someone, I don't know, a couple of you might know him, Lewis Hamilton. I don't know that guy. But obviously our race leader at the moment, Igor Fraga, actually got to ask him a question. So let's find out what he had to say.
A warm welcome, please, to the 5-time Formula One World Champion and the Gran Turismo Sport Maestro, Lewis Hamilton.
I wanted to know, like, if you also had a time that you wanted to quit, like, motorsport, or what makes you, like, keep going?
Yeah, good question. Karting was difficult for us because we were the only black family there. There was definitely a lot of hate, a lot of negativity that came our way, but my dad just always said, do you talking on the track? So naturally, I'm a fighter. But there were times, particularly when I got to cars, my first 3 or 4 races at least, I crashed and damaged the car, and I can't afford to keep making mistakes. I might not have any more chances left. And I woke up in the morning and I went for the longest run that I'd ever done. I felt great. And during that run, I cleared my mind. I won the next race. There are times that you feel that there's just no solution around the issue. The easiest thing is to give up, but there's always light over the hill, you know? So you just gotta never give up, whatever you're targeting realistically. I think that you can reach. And so that's how it's kind of been through the different times throughout my career.
I have to say, there was a kind of gasp as he walked in the room.
Yeah, it was a bit of a badly kept secret, really, that he was coming. I think a few of the guys maybe knew that he was here, but it was such an honor for everybody. And so exciting, you know, all these guys obviously look up to Lewis. He is now the Gran Turismo Maestro as well. He has a direct involvement in the game, which is a game that he's played since he was a kid. And he was just as excited to be here as the guys, honestly. He really enjoyed himself. He did.
That he was here?
Pardon?
How excited were you that he was here?
I was really excited, yeah. And do you know what? He was a lovely guy as well. You know, everybody has an image, don't they? And, you know, everybody kind of has their opinions, but he was such a nice guy. He wanted to stay here and talk to the guys for longer than the time that we had available. He was an absolute pleasure, honestly.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, okay, we are on to our next race in just a few moments. I believe, Matt, you had a chat with Fraga about our next particular track, which is the Autodromo de Interlagos. Let's find out what you had to say.
Ready for Interlagos is our America's champion, Igor Fraga. And Igor, as a Brazilian, your home circuit, and a place actually you've raced in real life too. What's it like?
It's like very similar to, you know, to the real life track. And it's very, very interesting because, you know, you have the trees, you have the building that is kind of same place. So it's very, very interesting. And I have always a lot of fun driving there.
What experience from driving the real circuit can you take into the game and vice versa when you drive the game and you go there?
I think the base, it's kind of same, you know, the lines, but, you know, you have to do tiny adjustment. It's not like exactly the same, but it's very interesting because you keep your mind open, and it kind of helps to the both worlds. Like the real kind of help a little bit on the virtual, and sometimes the virtual helps a little bit on the real world too.
So coming from the real to the virtual, for our guys and girls who are watching at home, what tips can you give them? What's the key areas to this track?
I believe that the Interlagos have a lot of keys. It's a very technical track, but especially on the first S of Senna, you know, the second turn there, you have to have like a very good exit because you have a quite long straightaway going to Curva do Lago, and then you have the second sector, you know, the slow section that you have the flow there. It's, you know, it's always connected, so you have to think further and sometimes prioritize the next corner. And it's a very technical track that I love.
Well, from all the comments that we're getting on the live streams, we know you've got lots of fans out there, Igor, and I'm sure they're going to be supporting you at Interlagos, so good luck.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching too.
Yeah, he's going to be a man to beat, isn't he, around Interlagos, also known as the Autodromo José Carlos Pache, named after the late Brazilian F1 driver, winner there in 1975. Built in the 1930s on land initially designated for housing until the big stock market crash of 1929. There's something you didn't know. Yeah, with a layout based on New York's Roosevelt Field Raceway and the home of Formula One since 1972. 14 times tyre wear, and as Igor said there, it's fast and it's flowing in sections. You've got to think a couple of corners ahead, which is one of the tips that Lewis was giving the guys actually when he was here the other day. Now, the drivers have to use at least 2 types of tyres, so we could see some very different strategies here. With some of the guys now, as we've seen after that first race, they're at the point of the competition where really this could be the time to take a gamble. Easier said than done, though, isn't it? It's all right for us to sit here saying, oh, I think the guys should take a gamble, but we're going to ask you that question, and we don't have to answer it, Julia, don't worry. The guys at home, we want to hear from you. What's your tyre strategy? Which tyre would you race first? Send us your thoughts and your answers using the hashtag FIA GTC and hashtag GTSport.
Yeah, let us know because we need some help. Although it'll be a bit late for these guys, they'll all be well into the race, but there we are. Talk to us a little bit about the cars for this one, Matt.
Yeah, sure. Cars are Group 3, so all rear-wheel drive. Look out for the car here that won the Manufacturer Series yesterday, the Lexus RCF, and that's going to be in the hands of Patrick Blajan. So, yeah, look out for Patrick in that one. Mikael Hizal, we've seen that he's got some work to do. He's in the Audi R8. A car that uses the tyres quite hard, so it's a big challenge for him once again. He might need a clever strategy on the tyres. And Galan, the Canadian, disappointed a little bit in the first race, but he's in the Atenza, so one to watch here. These Group 3 cars, as you can see, fully fledged race cars, just slightly bigger on the aerodynamics and some other tweaks as well.
I think you need to stop picking races at the start.
I know, I keep cursing
them. You're like cursing them
yeah.
every single time they don't do well. The pressure of having you to look at them, Matt, stop it. Oh, well, let's kick off this second race now. Don't pick one this time, and we'll see how better they do. Let's chuck over to our commentators now.
Well, race 2, of course, will be at Interlagos, as we heard there. Good to hear the thoughts of Igor Fraga as well. We're going to have a look at the standings because we've had now semi-final repechage and the first race. So we've had a cumulative points scored throughout all of those. Let's have a look at who is where. Igor Fraga leading the way with 22 points. Karatsa second with 15. Very close battle it is for second. Yamanaka, Yoshida, Lopez and Hizal all on 14 points. Then it's Latkovsky and Portilla rounding out the top 8. Out of the top 8, it's Kokibun, Galan, Wong, Law, Mangano, Blashan. Then it's Rubilar and Siswillo at the back of the field. Jimmy, what's your thoughts ahead of this one? Of course, Igor Fraga is going to be difficult to beat after the performance we saw in Las Vegas when we were driving around this very circuit.
Well, yeah, of course, as you heard, Igor has driven here in real life, so has a little bit of an advantage over the rest of the drivers. But very fast guy, again, loves to lead from the front. And where's he starting? Front of the grid. So we'll see what happens.
There we go. We will find out very shortly. I think it's fair to say. Race 2, it is time to get going. Interlagos, Group 3 cars. It's going to be a 9-lap race. They have to use all 3 compounds of tyres as well. Jimmy, why don't you take us through the grid for this one?
It's my pleasure, Chris. Starting on pole position is that man, Igor Fraga, in the Jaguar F-Type. Will be able to lead from the front like he did in Vegas. Second is Karatsa in the NSX, another car that's hard with his tyres. In third is Yamanaka in the M6 GT3. Then down the 4th, it's Cody Latkovsky starting in the V12 Vantage. In 5th position, Giorgio Yoshida in that beautiful Alfa Romeo 4C. Then back down to 6th, Roque Lopez in the Porsche 911 RSR. 7th is our European regional final champion, Mick Hizal, in the Audi R8. See if he can manage his tyres. Giorgio Mangano looking to work his way further up the field in 8th position for the AMG. Then Portilla in 9th with the Corvette C7. Down in 10th is Adam Siswillo in the Mustang Group 3 car. 11th is Patrick Blajan, not really used to seeing him that far down. Hopefully for his sake he can make up a couple of places. In 12th is Jeff Gallen in the Mazda Atenza. And in 13th it is Nico Rubilar in the Supra. Then we go to Jonathan Wong from Hong Kong in the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 car. Then it's Yap Lam Law in 15th in the Nissan GTR. Then down 16th from last is Ryoto Kokibun. He's got a lot to do in that McLaren 650S.
Well, in practice earlier, Galan was actually quickest from Blashan and Siswillo, and they are all out of the top, well, 10th, 11th and 12th respectively. So do watch out for those guys. Cars to watch out for from the drivers I spoke to earlier said, watch out for the Atenza in the hands of Galan, the Mustang with Siswillo, and the BMW with Yamanaka there from 3rd place as well. But this is now race 2. More points to be scored ahead of that world final title. So here we go. Two Brazilians leading the way at Interlagos, and on pole position is Igor Fraga, the points leader in the Nations Cup World Final at the moment. It's going to be a 9-lap race, as we said. All 3 tyre compounds must be used in this one. Let's get ready to go racing for the second time here on Grand Finals Day. We wait for the countdown and then we go racing. There it is, and Igor Fraga leads us down towards turn number 1 for the first time of 9. Let's hope for a clean start. The top 4 all on soft tyres, and then Shogo Yoshida has gone for the medium, Rubelar Wong and Yat Lam Law have gone for hard tyres towards the back. But do we have any instance? I don't think we do. No penalties either. So looks like it's been a nice and clean start. Your 2 Brazilians heading down towards turn number 4. Fraga leading Carazza, then Yamanaka there in third. Carazza trying to make himself big in the mirrors of Igor Fraga here on lap number 1, but Igor Fraga not feeling the pressure at all as he leads us down towards turn number 6 for the first time.
So at the moment, Lopez and Mangano have both moved up from their grid positions. Zakowski in 4th at the moment. Here is Fraga. If anyone's going to pounce on Igor Fraga, it needs to be soon. We know the Brazilian driver likes to leave in the front. Look for the middle sector. Look at Carazza really harrying the Jaguar F-Cup. The top 4 drivers separated by less than a second right now, coming through this tricky middle section here on Interlagos. It's all about being very patient with the throttle, something Chris isn't very good at, unfortunately. Make their way down the long left-hander, and then coming up through awkward braking. This last corner always catches me out. I'm not very good at this one. And we then try and bring it all the way to the curb and uphill. All about power now, and Igor Fraga has managed to extend this gap from 2 to nearly 9/10 of a second. Meanwhile, Yamanaka all over the back of Carazza. Let's see if the Japanese driver can get by.
Yeah, let's see down at turn number 1, Latkovsky looking to take advantage, I think, here as well. Yamanaka's going to try the outside, and Latkovsky's going to try and go on the inside of the pair of them. And is he going to make the move when he's into third? Can he go through to second? He can't. So Yamanaka up to second. Latkovsky, what a fantastic move. Grates the wall almost on his way through, but he is third. Carazza losing out big time. He's now down to 4th place, and Latkovsky is not done with this yet. He looks to the outside of Yamanaka here. They're just making a little bit of contact as they go into the braking area for turn 4. Oh! Contact there. Carazza being caught out from a slowing Latkovsky.
So Latkovsky there at T1, I think. I don't think Carazza knew he was there. He was right on the wall. Now Latkovsky looks to the inside of Yamanaka, actually, coming in the long right-hander. Is he going to do it? He is. Late on the brakes into the middle section. Cody Latkovsky up into 2nd position. What a drive by the Australian driver.
It's fantastic stuff from Latkovsky. Of course, our one to watch if you watched our little preview earlier. Igor Fraga, meanwhile, this is helping him break away out front once again. What is he doing? He's qualifying at the front, he's finishing at the front, and he's letting everyone else dispute 2nd place while he just pulls away. So these guys now need to decide who's going to lead the charge, and they need to somehow work together, because Igor Fraga is already 2 seconds in the distance. Look at Patrick Blasher, and we said he could be one to watch. He's trying to close down Mangano, but of course he's only gone past those on medium or hard tyre at the moment. So our top 7 all on soft tyres. Here now we're on board with Latkovsky.
It's Yamanaka there, had the run, but actually slowed himself down coming on the back, and here comes Lopez on the inside of Carazza, not quite close enough, but intersects, getting sideways, coming down T1 through the centre S, now through T3. The right front tyre takes that battering through here. Now, as to reiterate what you said, Chris, these guys have to work together, otherwise Igor Fraga is just going to drive away with it again. When you're fighting and jostling for position, all you're doing is losing lap time, and Latkovsky goes a little bit wide, and Yamanaka goes, okay, I'm going to go for the move now, and he goes up to 2nd place. Latkovsky is pushed wide, not much time lost between them, but you see it was 2.2, and now it's 2.4 seconds to Igor Fraga. Every move is slowing him down. Meanwhile, in the background, Lopez moves up to 4th, taking Carazza. Lopez is really determined to get up from the scrap. Maybe he wants a chance at chasing Igor Fraga.
I can almost hear the Spanish commentators from here as Jorge Lopez goes into 4th place then. Another thing this is helping Igor Fraga do is manage his tyres. Of course, Yamanaka and Latkovsky, this won't be doing their soft tyres any good at all. What we had from our briefing earlier was that it could be 3 laps the tyre window on the softs, but of course that was completely thrown out the window in race number 1. There is Mangano in the Mercedes. Oh, and a little bit of a moment coming out of turn number 12 there as he's in the tow of Carazza. Can Mangano make a move as they head now down towards turn number 1? Patrick Blachan just behind as well. Mangano pulls to the outside in that Mercedes. Is he going to be brave and attempt to go all the way around the outside? Meanwhile, Blachan is trying to Cody Lakowski, and then 3 wide, and Mangano comes out in 5th place, and Blachan, oh, a little bit of more contact there. He's briefly onto the grass. Blachan and Carazza not done with each other yet. They're drifting through turn 3, and Blachan is up to 6th. Carazza, nightmare race so far for him.
That looked a little bit argy-bargy for me. I think that Blachan got a little bit frustrated with Carazza and maybe leaned on him going through T3. Unfortunately, our camera angle wasn't the best, so we can't really confirm that. Again, Lakowski and Yamanaka still going at it, and in the top right you can see Carazza and Blachan now under investigation. But yeah, Carazza has just been working his way down the field, started in 2nd place, is now down to 8th. So Yamanaka, Lakowski, Lopez all in your pitch at the moment. Yamanaka sideways again, so you're getting a little bit impatient on that throttle through there. And Koke Lopez behind in the Porsche 911 RSR, getting ever closer to the back of Cody Lakowski.
Well, all this battling has allowed those on medium tyres to close in here. Here is Lopez. He's going to dive to the inside of Lakowski. Is the move going to be completed? It was in the background. No, I don't think it was. Let's see. No, Lopez still in 4th place for the time being, but he certainly was thinking about a move. Are we going to see any stops on this lap? Igor Fraga is coming into the pits. Now, are we going to see all drivers on the softs come in? Let's see. Yamanaka is in. Lopez is in. Lakowski in. Yes, I think pretty much all of the guys on soft tyres have come into the pits, which means Yoshida now leads from Portilla, Galan and Rubila.
See how this pans out. Here comes Igor Fraga, long pit exit around here. And now Yoshida, you see, up into 1st in the Alpha 4C. There is a car strategy in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, as we expected. Well, actually, they went a little bit further on the racing softs than we expected they would do. 4 laps still free. Not too much time difference between these tyres, with the hards being 1.7 seconds slower than the medium. And there is Igor Fraga. He's come back out in traffic behind Nico Rubila. Look at Yamanaka now. The gap was about 2.2 seconds when they came to the pit lane. Now he's right on the back. It's going to be a case of who can get past Rubila first. Fraga already passed. Rubila goes very wide there, coming up the hill. Yamanaka follows him through, so Yamanaka has put himself in a great position at the moment.
Yeah, this is really good stuff, and that was a good spot there. Gallen, now he's having a bit of an argy-bargy with Portilla, and that's allowed Fraga and Yamanaka to close in. It's also allowed Yoshida to pull away out front, and Fraga trying to look up the inside of Portilla there. There may have been the slightest bit of contact. Fraga now trying to go round the outside at turn number 11. Yamanaka follows him through as they now head up towards T12. Are we going to see any moves there? No, Fraga not close enough, but could get the run down the straight and towards the pit lane. Yoshida out front on those medium tyres. How long is he going to stay out for? He's going to bail into the pits now. We'll probably expect Gallen and Portilla to do the same. Rubila should stay out a bit longer.
Okay, Yoshida is going to go for the hard tyre, probably run about a lap on that, come back in and bolt on the soft and go for a fast finish. So everyone diving into the pit lane now. Here is our order at the front. Fraga, Yamanaka, look how close the Japanese driver is to Igor Fraga. He's not used to seeing anyone in his mirror here at Interlagos, but he's been really harried by Yamanaka in that BMW M6, and not too far away in the background is Cody Lakowski as well. Again, we said Cody would be one to watch. He really is putting on a great show here. Igor Fraga going defensive nice and early. Not sure he really needs to do that. That's going to slow him down on exit. And now here comes Yamanaka. The gap is now less than 0.2 seconds. Yamanaka, sorry, looking to the outside. Yeah, I'm not going to fall over this time. Looking to the outside of T6, but not quite close enough to do anything. Igor Fraga really feeling the pressure now.
Well, there you can see the rankings of Fraga and Yamanaka. So this is a really crucial battle in terms of the overall championship here between Fraga and Yamanaka. Now, we've not really in this whole series actually seen Igor Fraga challenged for the lead. How is he going to deal with this pressure? Because he's not only got Yamanaka behind, he's got Lakowski and Lopez also closing in as well. So it could be a four-way scrap for the lead here. They'll probably bail into the pits right at the end and come out on the hard tyre for one lap, do you think?
That is definitely a possibility. I think maybe this is what Fraga does right now. He will use the hard tyre as least as possible. There are some live point standings. If the race finished as it was, Igor Fraga would have a 10-point lead at the top of the standings. And bear in mind, we still have a couple of races left, including one double points race for our finale. So it's far from over, even if things finish now. But if Yamanaka has anything to say about it, I think we're still in for a bit more action, Chris.
Let's keep an eye on the gap between second and third. You can see Yamanaka to the bottom left of your screen. I think perhaps just checking to see how far behind Latkovsky was. It is 1.4 seconds back to Latkovsky and Lopez at the moment. Let's go through some of the rest of the order. Blashan, Sisquillo, Kadatsa, Hizao, Gallen and Yoshida around at the top 10. We've got a change for 8th with Gallen going past Hizao.
So I've just noticed, I look down the screen here, looking at pit stops, and Giorgio Mangano down in 14th position has already pitted twice, so he doesn't need to pit again. The entire rest of the field does. Now, I don't think it'll be enough for him to come up into contention with the leaders, but I have been proved wrong before, so we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, in the background, the time Nathan Mattia overtaking Yoshida, and there is Igor Fraga right now being kept very honest by the Japanese driver. Here is your battle for third, Latkovsky and Lopez making their way down the hill once more. Now, we know the V12 Vantage historically has been fairly decent in a straight line, but Lopez is going to have the slipstream, so we might see a move come into T1 here. So Lopez now glued to the rear spoiler of the Aston Martin V12 Vantage. So the time coming down ever so slightly due to the slipstream. Now we're on board, going up into fifth. We'll be in sixth gear there, 260 k's. Looks to the inside. How late on the brakes does he want to be? Late enough, goes to the inside, the first part of Sanarez and gets it done nice and easily. Latkovsky still hanging on to the inside, but he's not going to be close enough. Now it's his turn. It's a long run down to T4. Latkovsky might be able to switch back.
You know what? I think Latkovsky knows that Lopez is quicker here, and he wants to put, I think, to just drag him up to the leaders, because Latkovsky would usually defend that place. He didn't, and he didn't fight it too hard on the exit either. So Lopez, let's see now what you can do. You've got a couple of laps. Can you take us up to the back of the fight for the lead? Because they are fighting out front, and if they continue to do so, Lopez and Latkovsky could get involved, and it could make for a four-way scrap. Patrick Blashan really closing in as well. He was once 2.3 seconds back from the battle for third. He's now only 0.8 of a second. So the Hungarian on a recovery in terms of his overall championship fight here. Here is Fraga and Yamanaka as they come now through turn number 11.
150 beats per minute, so Igor Fraga definitely feeling the strain of the Japanese driver bearing him behind. Now we'll see them likely peel into the pit lane again. 2 stops need to be made during this race. They need to use every compound of tyres, and everyone who currently has a 1 next to their name has not. So we're going to see a flurry of pit stops now, and that will be pretty much a sprint to the end from there. Although saying that, they're going round again. Is it only two tyres on this?
It says 3 on our sheet.
Have we missed something?
So unless that's a change, who knows? I'm sure Jimmy will get on the case, but Fraga and Yamanaka now come round turn number 3 and up towards turn number 4. Lopez 1.7 seconds back from Fraga and Yamanaka now as they head up towards turn number 4. Yamanaka looking to the outside. This the last lap of race number 2, and Yamanaka going for the switchback here on Igor Fraga. They're going to be side by side now, heading up towards turn number 6. Oh, a bit of contact. Fraga's up on the grass. Yamanaka to the outside. Oh, and they're bumping wheels once more, and Lopez gets closer and closer. Yamanaka now takes the lead. Oh, and Fraga dives back to the inside. Yamanaka's still in the lead for the time being, but here comes Lopez, dives down the inside of Fraga. Can he get second place? No, he can't. This is going to be a grandstand finish, Jimmy.
Well, we'll see what the stewards have to say about that, and we'll forget about pit stops for now. Igor Fraga having to defend heavily from Lopez, who's going to run it round the outside, going down the hill. He's got a car in there, he's got a car whip on him. He'll be on the inside now for this corner, and the next one, Lopez moves up to second place. Fraga goes from third to first. In 1 lap, Fraga has been left out to dry, and look in the background, Cody Latkovsky wants some of this as well. Igor Fraga's going to lose another position. Look at the left. There he is, Latkovsky's pass as well. Yeah. So Fraga goes down from first to 4th place. He might be able to get something back on the line, but it'll be Yamanaka who comes back and wins. Yamanaka wins. Let's see what our Spaniards think of it, shall we? Okay, well maybe not. We'll come back to us, and here is your final standings. Yamanaka takes race victory in an absolutely intense last lap from Jorge Lopez, who manages second. Cody Lutkowski takes third. And of course, Igor Fraga demoted to fourth position. Chris, thoughts?
Well, there was 10 points between our top two. That could now come down. And of course, third place, Yamanaka, is going to close in as well. Well, we did say during that race, we have not seen Igor Fraga in a pressure situation. I don't think throughout the whole championship, certainly not at the live events anyway. And there, he just seemed to go through his tyres too much. Either that or he just lost one place and then lost momentum. Let's look back at the race. Jimmy, why don't you talk us through the replay?
That is Karatza there at the start of the race. You see Yamanaka early on making the move, but Lutkowski going up the inside of both of them. A fantastic move there by the Australian driver. Eventually came out third, though, and Yamanaka holding second for now. Here was Lutkowski and Yamanaka. You see in the background, Karatza just drove into the back of Lutkowski. Luckily, no time lost there, but big jolt in the wheel there and well held by the Australian driver. The battle didn't end there, though. Lutkowski was determined to stay with Yamanaka and actually got back past the Japanese driver. But then again, next lap, Yamanaka, as industrious as he is, passed up into second position.
Yep, that was a brave move all the way around the outside, and then this was Lopez as he started to get involved. I could feel the desk shaking. That was coming all the way down from the Spaniards as Lopez went into third. And we did say if these guys kept battling, someone was going to catch him, and it was going to be Jorge Lopez. That was when they made slight contact. Fraga onto the grass. Yamanaka, as Fraga rejoined, they made contact, but Yamanaka got the switchback, went into the lead, somehow got the car stopped going into turn 8. Then here came Lopez through turn 11, kept Fraga to the outside, and Lopez went through, and Fraga, unfortunately, was going to drop even more places because there came Cody Lutkowski through. Yamanaka, it was out front, took victory. There you can see Yamanaka. That's what it meant to him. He would have known Fraga was down in fourth, and he knows that is a big, big moment in this event.
Yeah, very Yamanaka-esque result then. Here are our standings, or our race results, I should say. Yamanaka taking the full 12 points, Lopez 10, Lutkowski 8, and Igor Fraga losing out 5 points in the last up to 7. Patrick Blachan takes 6 points, Jeff Gallen with 5, and here are the rest. Here we have Shogo Yoshida on 2, Mangano on 1, and here the guys at the bottom with none. So we're going to toss over to Julia with an interview. Hello, Julia.
Well, I mean, I'm here, but it's not really about me. This is with Ty Rahman, who's the winner of the Manufacturer Series for Lexus yesterday. So how are you? This must be quite nice. Is it quite relaxing for you? You can just chill out, watch everyone else get really stressed?
Yeah, I mean, after watching that race, it's pretty intense, and it's nice to not have to be worrying about that right now.
I mean, the last little bit of that lap, we were both kind of losing it a little bit. That's pretty shocking, huh?
Yeah, I mean, to see some of the best drivers in the world battle it out, and Yamanaka being patient, waiting, and executing when he needed to, and it's really impressive to watch these guys battle it out.
I mean, how do you think it's going to affect Fraga from this point on? What do you reckon? If that was you, how would you deal with that?
I mean, he's a professional driver. You know, he deals with the pressure all the time. He's just got to, keep his head down, battle it out, and finish to the end. It's, still got a couple more races to go. So,
I mean, now that you're kind of hanging out and kind of watching it from the other side, what's your best advice to everyone who's up on that stage now? Come on, you're the champion already. They want to be a champion. What's your top tip?
Just enjoy yourself. Have fun. I mean, we're all here for the same reason. We all want to enjoy, the racing, and it's very competitive. But just have fun at the end of the day, and it's anyone's game.
He's just way too chill about everything. It was like this yesterday, right after he won. It was just like, yeah, it's cool, just doing some driving, whatever. But that's maybe the key to being a champion. So thank you so much for chatting to us, Tara. That's great. Let's take a quick look at the schedule, what's coming up for the rest of today. We're about halfway through. We've got race 3 coming up, and then, of course, the final race as well. But don't forget, it's double points. So still everything to play for. Let's see if Fraga can, pull it back. Let's take a look at the next track that they're going to be racing on.
Who better to tell us about our next circuit, Monza, than the only Italian in the final, Giorgio Mangano. Giorgio, you must be excited to have your home track in the final.
Yes, of course, I'm excited. It's my home track. I've been there and I loved it. Of course, it's not the track where you can escape, but of course there are a lot of straights where you can have battles and overtakes.
But it makes it difficult, like you say, for you guys to actually make the difference.
Yes, even the slowest guys, they can catch up with the slipstream, so it's difficult, as I said, to escape and take the pace.
One thing we saw in the semi-finals was how critical the tyre wear can be. What's it like at Monza? I'm guessing with the long straights, not too bad?
Yeah, Monza is not a track where you wear a lot of the tires because of the straights, and the corners are very slow, so you can't wear the tire a lot.
Well, listen, Giorgio, I'm sure there's lots of Italian fans watching at home. We're wishing you the best at Monza. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, really historic racetrack. Another one located near the city of Monza, north of Milan, built in 1922. It holds the distinction of being the world's third purpose-built motor racing circuit after Brooklands in the UK and Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the USA. This is the 5.755 Grand Prix layout without the chicane on the front straight. So as Giorgio said there, fast, long straights and relatively slow corners that don't ordinarily wear tyres too bad. But this is Gran Turismo, so in terms of tyre strategy, the race here, the boys are going to have to contend with 14 times tyre wear. And again, they must use 2 or more options. However, look at that, only 0.6 seconds difference between the medium and the soft tyre. So a bit of a tricky one for the boys to choose in terms of tyres. Now, as we said at the very top of the show, if you missed it, in these Nations Cup races, the guys get allocated their cars. The cars for our third race here are Group 1, and something for everybody, really, in this group. Bit of a mixture, something for all ages, I think it's fair to say. We've got the LMP1 cars, the top class at Le Mans. Cars like the 919 Hybrid, which you might have seen earlier on. It's in the lobby here, driven by Brendan Hartley. Some older Group C cars from the 80s and 90s, like the Mazda 787B. Very little downforce, but high on top speed. And mixed in there, we've got some Gran Turismo Visions, like the McLaren and the Audi Vision here, which we've got in the arena, actually, just over there. And some non-hybrid cars as well, like the Peugeot 908, which lacks a little bit of the acceleration compared to the hybrid, but plenty of top speed as well. So lots of interest in this one. The racing is ramping up again. Let's go back to Chris and Jimmy.
Thank you, Matt. Well, I think it's time to actually look at how the points now look, because that was a big, big race, as we said. That could be a very pivotal moment in who walks away the champion today, of course, the inaugural champion. So why don't we take a look at the points, who is sitting where. I'm sure, Jimmy, you can help me talk us through this, because we did score points in that race, and here they are.
So you can see there, Igor Fraga's lead comes right down to 3 points. Yamanaka up to second, Lopez third now, Vakovsky still there in fourth position. Mick Hazal needs to really get a move on down in fifth. Yoshida sixth, Karatsa seventh, and Jeff Gallen in eighth. Then a bit further down the field, we have Patrick Blajan in ninth with 11 points. Portilla and Kokibon both with 9. Kokibon a lot lower than we thought he would be. Wong is in 12th, Pasquillo 13th, Mangano 14th, Law 15th, and Nico Rubelar right down the bottom with only 3 points.
Right, so we've got Group 1 out next with Monza, no chicane. You tested this track earlier. I saw you having a go, just trying to, get to grips and get used to what these guys are about to face. What did you make of the track? What car were you in?
I was in the Group C Nissan, so very fast car, not quite that quick out of the corners, but on the top speed-wise, absolute rocket. You're doing 340 Ks before breaking to the first chicane. Absolutely insane. Looking forward to seeing it in action.
Well, this is going to be a fantastic race. Race number 3, more points to be scored. Of course, having won that second race, going off pole position will be Tomoaki Yamanaka, now up to second in the point standings. Jorge Lopez will start in second place, starting from third, and potentially with a pretty good car here. Cody Latkovsky was told by some drivers that car should go very well. Igor Fraga starts in fourth place, having lost pole position at Interlagos. Patrick Blashan is down in fifth. Big mover in the last race, definitely watch for him in this one. Jeffrey Gallant goes off sixth place. He's sitting eighth in the standings at the moment. Adam Sasquillo is 13th, but moved forward well last time. Let's see if he can progress on that this time. Mick Hazal, as Jimmy said, needs to get a move on. Fifth at the moment, he starts 8th place. Shogo Yoshida, he's 6th overall at the moment, and he is 9th place in the Toyota. Then it is Giorgio Mangano on home soil 10th place for him on the grid. Karatsa starts in 11th place, disappointing second race. Let's see if he can make some ground in this one. Ryoto Kokipan really struggling today, the Asia Oceania Regional Final champion. Likewise, Nicholas Rubelar rounds out the field in terms of the points. 13th, needs to do something special. Likewise, Fabian Portia, who starts from 14th. Jonathan Wong starts in 15th place. Not the day for him we expected. And then rounding out the field, it is Yap Lam Law, 15th in the points for him at the moment. So we've gone pretty split on tyres here, half on softs, half on mediums, pretty much. Top 5 all on softs. Jeff Gallen, the first of the medium tyre runners. Well, Jimmy, it's going to be a 10-lap race. Why don't you talk us through the start? Monza, no chicane.
No chicane is the big detail here. With the chicane, I very much fancy myself in a hybrid car around here. But taking the chicane out, cars like the Group C cars, the Mazda 787B, the Sauber C9, the Nissan R92 there, they're all going to be very quick in terms of top end, and not having a chicane there means they can really use that down the straight. Now the hybrids are going to be fully charged on the first lap, so expect to see them shoot away but then be drawn back in by the cars behind. Yamanaka, will lead us away in that glorious Audi R18, the diesel tractor we call it, back on my own channel. And here we go then, 3, 2, 1, and here we go at Monza for race 3 of the FIA GT Championship World Final. Look at the hybrid. Yamanaka streaks away in the Audi R18 down towards where the first chicane would be. In the background, Lopez is already 1.5 seconds behind. Lukowski is gaining on Lopez. Fraga in the Sauber C9. He's going to come strong now. And there goes Koster out the outside. Fraga nowhere to go with that grunt of a Sauber C9. You can hear the rotary 787B of Jeff Gallen in the background. And now coming down to the first chicane, it is Yamanaka, Lukowski, Lopez. And I hear a shout go up from the Spanish commentary booth. Lopez's race is pretty much over before it starts, as is Adam Taswillo. He drops down the field.
There's going to be some investigations at least there. I could see that one coming from a mile off as they went. Oh, and a big incident in the background. Someone off into the gravel. I think Ryoto Kokiban was caught up, but I don't think he was the driver off in the gravel. It's Adam Taswillo who's off. Jimmy, talk us through the replay. I think we're about to see the Lopez incident.
Yeah, so here is Lopez on the outside, comes to the inside, then he gets tagged by Igor Fraga, who then is shoved by Jeff Gallen. About 4 cars into one apex don't really go, and that is the result. Yamanaka, look at the gap already now. We expected to see this car pull away at the start, but I can say, because I didn't expect it to be this quick at the start. The gap already 3 seconds, but now that hybrid will be drained, so cars like the 908 and some of the Group C cars will come. Look who's up in 5th position, Mick Hazal in the Nissan. Watch this thing in a straight line. We have Shogo Yoshida there in the Toyota. Look at it, just reel in the LMP1. The Group C showing its might, goes to the inside. Thank you very much, says Mick Hazal. Absolutely rocketing around Curva Grande, and now up to the pack of Patrick Basham. This could be his out race if he keeps this up.
Well, Igor Fraga is on a recovery. He's up to 6th place, but he is under investigation, and we haven't seen yet that no penalties will be issued. So he still is under investigation. Igor Fraga, what is happening to Igor Fraga? Oh, well, there we go. No penalties issued, so he's going to have a huge sigh of relief when he sees that one. But he is in 6th place, now has a job to do to recover. Tomoaki Yamanaka is out front, and Fraga under pressure from Jonathan Wong, who will look to the outside, coming up towards Ascari. Can Wong get through? No, Fraga hangs on for the time being. Now we can see Lopez, I think, to the bottom left of your picture. He's up to 14th on a recovery drive. There's penalties for Karatsa and Kokiban, but Igor Fraga in the wars once again.
Now, this is where the interesting element of the race here comes. Mangano goes to the inside of Jonathan Wong on the 919 hybrid, and Wong just gives me a little nudge through the parabolic. I'm not quite sure that's necessary, but Mangano doesn't really care. He's off now. Again, watch the gap on your screen between Mick Hazal and Patrick Blajan. The Group C Nissan is an absolute beast in a straight line here, especially towards the top end, and he won't need inviting twice to pass Patrick Blajan. Let's get a camera up there, please, Mr. Race Director. Here's Mangalo in the meantime. He rarely does listen to us, actually. There is Mangalo coming around Curva Grande right now. A very interesting Hyundai Vision car. Here is Ryoto Kokiban. Haven't spoken about him too much today. Up to 11th in the Jaguar, but really, Chris, not going well for our Asia-Oceania regional champion.
No, it's really not. Of course, was coming into this as one of the three favourites, as one of the regional final champions, but we're going to cockpit at the moment, doing the worst of all three of them. Let's go to that battle for second, of course. We've got Blashan in the chase of Latkovsky, but more importantly, Hizao trying to chase down Blashan. Hizao on the medium tyre as well. Fraga is only 9/10 behind that, and he is on the soft tyre. So Fraga, the one closing in on Hizao at the moment.
Now, after our mix-up with info in the last race, this confirmed only 2 compounds of tyres need to be used, which is why you're seeing mediums and softs all the way down the field there. Now again, Rocky and Gallo both in the Group C machines, and you can hear that 787 coming from a mile back. The rotary powered car is just so recognisable as it comes blasting past. Now Igor Fraga has gone onto the back of Mick Hazan, and watch that speedo to the right. That's just going to keep on going, this Group C machine. 330 k's, 335 as we turn into Curva Grande. Try not to scrub the steering too much through here, don't lose too much speed. And looks at the braking zone. About the 150 board of these guys, heavy on the brakes, throw it to the inside, and Fraga has gone too deep. He's probably going to pick up a penalty now, and that's going to allow Yoshida back up into 5th place. What's happening with Igor Fraga?
Well, Igor Fraga is quite literally falling to pieces here. Never seen this from the Brazilian, and it was that pressure situation we were talking about. In the pressure of a racing situation, we hadn't seen Igor Fraga under that just yet. And now, twice, Fraga has made little mistakes that have led to him losing position. So Igor Fraga needs to dust himself down and try and get going once again. How's he going to be feeling, Jim? Have you ever been in a situation, have you ever been faced with a situation like this where things just don't seem to be working out and you're jumping down the field?
Pretty much every stream that I do, Chris, actually.
What do you do then?
I haven't found a way to stop it happening yet, but Igor needs to just calm down a bit. You know, he's a man that said he used to get very angry when he raced, but then tried to see to that, tried to calm himself down. We'll have a look at Richie before the race where he breathes deep and gets himself centred. He needs to think of that now. And actually, Igor Fraga going on to the hard compound of tyres. That is a move I did not expect.
No. Very interesting. Also into the pits is Mangano has gone on the medium. Lopez has gone to the medium. There's tyre strategy in the bottom left, so you can see the medium's around 0.6 of a second slower, the hard 2 seconds slower. So that makes that decision from Igor Fraga even more strange. They can use 2 or more types of tyres, so he can swap to the softs if he wants to, but he doesn't need to use all 3.
A lot of people in chat saying no penalty for Fraga. He did lose time going over the chicane, so that's my reckoning.
He lost place.
As to why he didn't get a penalty there, to not gain an advantage. Oh, Patrick Blashan! What's happened?
He's come to a stop.
He stopped.
He's just come to a stop. Rubelar slowing down as well. Let's get a replay, Jimmy.
I'm just looking to the stage to see what happened. Here is Patrick Blashan, and the car just...
Oh,
spins.
no, he spins.
What?
Well, he went wide,
I don't know what
didn't
happened there. He's kind of back up to speed, I think, but he's down to 15th place, which moves Latkovsky up into 2nd, Hizao into 3rd, and Yamanaka, our leader, comes into the pit lane, puts on the medium tyres, and is back out onto the circuit.
My guess with Blashan, Jimmy, is that he spun and then was trying to wait for a gap to get the car back round and going again. It's just a guess, but maybe that's why we saw him go all the way to the back.
Okay, interesting one there, but we'll come back to the race. Here we go. And you see the Toyota without that hybrid coming out the pit lane suffers massively compared to the Group C Nissan, but here is one man who has had everything go his way so far. Yamanaka leading by nearly 5 seconds, but Jonathan Wong, who has yet to pit, he did start in last place, currently in 2nd. It's going all right for Jonathan, isn't it?
Yeah, right to the back of the field he started, literally at the back and up to 2nd, so he stayed out for the long run. He's kept out of trouble, and Jonathan Wong could be picking up a very good result and a lot of points in this one if he stays roughly where he is after a stop. Now Latkovsky is 3rd. This is the main focus on track at the moment, though. The battle for 5th place between Hizao, Gallen and Yoshida. Well, Gallen is yet to stop. Hizao and Yoshida have, so they're looking to get by ASAP, and Hizao's going to go through into Ascari. What about Yoshida? He should get through on the exit, and we should be expecting to see Gallen into the pits very shortly.
Now, the thing is, Chris, if Hizao finishes strong here, we have a double point race for our finale. It could be anybody's game. I thought coming into this, as did a lot of people, that Igor Fraga would have an easy job here today. But the Brazilian driver has just not delivered at this point.
No. We've got Jonathan Wong into the pits, by the way. Let's see how far he drops back. Hizao's now gone up to third. And we'll wait for all this to work itself out. But we do know Yamanaka is clear by 5.3 seconds, having stopped and gone onto the medium tyre. Likewise, Latkovsky. Hizao is third, Yoshida fourth. Jonathan Wong has picked up a penalty in fifth place there. Then it is Mangano, Karatsa, Gokiban, Gallan and Lopez.
So if it finished as it was right now, then Yamanaka would have a 9-point advantage going into the final. Of course, with double points, he could still quite easily lose out, but that's a good place to be at this stage of the competition. Latkovsky is in second position, just behind. He would be on 29 points. Behind him, Mick Hizao would move up into fourth position in the championship rankings with 25 points. So still within a shout for our European champion.
And this is also going to set the grid for that final race, which is double points, as Jimmy said. And if there is a tie, it goes down to who is ahead on track. So this is a big, big moment in this. Yamanaka looking very good at the moment, but double points is the big thing in that final race.
We need to talk about Igor Fraga because he's pitted again for the medium tyre, so maybe he's getting his info from me in the last race and has tried the two-stop when only he needs to use the one-stop. We'll have to wait and see what's happened there, but regardless, the Brazilian now down to 11th. Now here comes Jonathan Wong on Giorgio Mangano after serving a bounce. Look at the background, Karatsa in the Bugatti Veyron comes to the outside. Sorry, that isn't a Veyron, but it's a Bugatti of some sort. Look at it go to the outside. We'll go round to the left now for Curva Grande. They'll have to come back in. He might squeeze Jonathan Wong, though. Wong has the inside. Just about, but he's got nowhere to go right now. He's got the sixth string for Mangano. Karatsa's going to take sixth, try and outbrake Wong. And Wong is all sorts of sideways into the chicane, and they just about get through. Wong takes the place. How did he manage that?
Well, how did he hold on to that slide, drifting all the way into and then through the corner? Fantastic driving there from Jonathan Wong on those soft tyres. He's now going to go after Mangano, who's on the medium tyres ahead. So Jonathan Wong staring at a top 5 finish here and a top 5 place on the grid for that final race. This a little bit further back, Yatlam Law and Adam Siswilla, two drivers who are not having a good day at the office whatsoever. Now let's have a look at the leader. We've got Tomoaki Yamanaka leading by 5.8 seconds. We're going to go into now the Italian commentators, of course, Giorgio Mangano up to 5th.
Era ed è ancora ovviamente ecco qua intanto ho inquadrato il nostro Giorgio Mangano
che è tallonato
da Wong che in questo momento lo passa
ha più spunto, però adesso c'è ancora l'effetto scia. Vediamo se da questo camera car Giorgio riesce a prendere la scia.
Guardalo
vai Giorgio con
guardalo
vai e riprende ancora una volta la
accesi i post bruciatori. Giorgio Mangano ha acceso i post bruciatori ed è andato, mamma mia ragazzi,
in uscita di curva la Hyundai di Giorgio non è così rapida nel prendere giri, ma poi sull'allungo ce la fa. Dai Giorgino,
intanto sta riscalando faticosamente, ahimè, o meglio ai lui.
Great to hear from our Italian commentators there. Of course, big fans of Giorgio Mangano, as you expect, but they aren't going to like this. Jonathan Wong goes round the outside of the first Lesmo, somehow gets that done. Kind of glad we can't hear the Italians now, because I think there'll be some choice words over there.
Yeah, we cut away at just the right time, it seems. Now, we are getting into the business end of the World Finals here. And of course we do have one more race after this, but Yamanaka is really doing a good job out front. Jonathan Wong up to 5th place, not on those soft tyres, so should be expected to see him going past Mangano. He won't make any more places in this race unless there is huge drama up ahead. Igor Fraga remains in 11th. He has caught up to the back of Lopez. Of course, them two had a bit of a ding-dong earlier in the race. Lopez trying to recover, so they'll come to wars once again. There is Karatsa in 7th place, and then we have Ryoto Kokibun there in 8th. We are now going on to the final lap of the race. Yamanaka extending his lead even more, Jimmy. He's now up to almost 7 seconds.
Here comes Ryoto Kokibun in that beautiful XJR9. Le Mans spec goes up the inside of Karatsa and Assuran like he's absolutely standing still. The grunt there of the V12 Jaguar as it flies down to the second, well, the first chicane here in this round, I guess. Now really barreling in on Giorgio Mangano. It's not been a great competition so far for Ryoto Kokibun, so he's looking to try and make up as many places as he can going into the last round. And what a beautiful car to do it in, though. He makes a small mistake coming out of the second Lesmo. He might have the front to catch and pass Mangano. Let's wait and see. He's on the soft tyres, so he's going to have the advantage in the corners too.
Well, out front though, Yamanaka only has 1 corner remaining, and is he putting one hand on that World Finals trophy? Here comes Tomoaki Yamanaka. He is about to take victory in race number 3. Fantastic performance. The finish line awaits. Yamanaka takes victory in race number 3. Fantastic driving from him. 7.5 seconds behind. Here it's Cody Nikola Latkovsky, well in contention for overall victory as well. Mick Hazal has brought himself back into play with that 3rd place. Shogo Yoshida 4th, and then 5th place is Jonathan Wong.
Jonathan Wong started last, Chris. Up to 5th position, a great performance for him. Mangano 6th, Kokibun ended up in 7th, Karatsa 8th, Gallen 9th, Braga 10th position.
Good to see good sportsmanship there. Cody Nikola Latkovsky straight out the rig over to Tomoaki Yamanaka, a handshake between the pair. I think they know they're about to go battle for the world final title. So that final race awaits, Jimmy. It's going to be crunch time, and Igor Fraga going to be even in a worse position now. Down the field once again, that we know the grid now having that result. What's your thoughts ahead of that final race and reflection on what we've just seen?
I think that this wasn't in Fraga's plan, so to speak. Here is the replay. Here is Igor Fraga going into the first chicane. And here is the off-board footage. Actually ran into the back of Lopez. Got a nice big punt there from Jeff Gallen. And Lopez, of course, battered off into the gravel track. Here's his reaction. Looks a lot calmer than I'd be, I tell you that now.
Yes, indeed. This was a 5th place Igor Fraga, and that was a big mistake going into the first chicane. Patrick Blashan, this was his spin, so got on the gravel and spun round and facing the wrong way and dropped all the way to 15th as a result of that.
From 3rd, and here was Giorgio Mangano and Jonathan Wong having a fantastic fight Hyundai on Porsche 919 Hybrid. Of course, the 919 Hybrid a lot better out of the corners. And here he was going round the outside of Giorgio Mangano at the first Lesmo. Great move there from Jonathan Wong. But it was Yamanaka, of course, who came across the line to take the 2nd race victory in a row in this FIA GT Championship World Final, looking very, very strong for the final race.
Yeah, trying to keep calm at the same time, though, wasn't he, Tomoaki Yamanaka? As much as he's happy, he knows that there's still one more race to go, and it's going to be double points, of course, as well. So we're getting to the point standings, of course, for you very, very shortly. That last race is going to be in the X2014 cars as well at Le Mans. So that is going to be fantastic stuff.
Definitely. Equal playing field, of course, for our drivers, and we're very close coming in on points. They'll come onto a screen very shortly. Not really quite sure what to expect here. We know Igor Fraga is very strong in that X2014, given his performance at previous events. But it's a car that doesn't suit everybody. It's a high downforce car. You need to really have that reaction time for that car. But if anyone's got it, it's going to be our drivers. And again, Yamanaka in a great position.
And talking of this race, was there any cars that surprised you? Of course, drivers, I think we know that where the surprises came from there. But what about cars?
I must say, although the Group C cars had a bit of an easier time with this zero chicane in Monza, so to speak, I did not expect them to be anywhere near the front. But Mick Hazal dragging that R92 up into 3rd position. Probably my driver of the race, I think. Actually, sorry, outside of that, he was my 2nd driver of the race. My 1st, Jonathan Wong.
Yeah.
Great performance by him. 5th position from last.
And I think we're seeing the pressure of the event now really taking its toll on some of the drivers, mistakes being made. And then those, I think, who are good at keeping calm are coming to the fore, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. And here are our standings on screen now, so you can see confirmation. Yamanaka takes the full 12 points, Lekochi takes 10, Mick Hazao 8, Yoshida 7th, Wong 6, Mangano 5, Kokibun 4, and Karatsa 5th. Jeff Gallen picks up 2 points, and Igor Fraga picks up 1 point only from race 3.
So those were the race 3 results then. Confirmation of who took how many points for you. It's getting towards the end of the championships. It's been a fantastic year, isn't it? It's a shame it's coming to an end.
It's been kind of crazy to think that I've been you as well at many of these events. This is the last race, the one to decide them all. And I really don't know who to call. If you said to me this morning, Jimmy, who's going to come away with this? I would have probably said Igor Fraga. Now, no idea. Absolutely no idea. So what we're going to be doing now is passing over to Julia with an interview with our current top 3 drivers. Let's see what they have to say.
Yeah, so I'm here with our top 3 drivers just before we go into this 4th and final race. I feel kind of bad dragging them away because it's quite a tense moment. How do you feel after that last race?
今までの3レースですごいいい戦いができています。そうですね。レース2、レース3って勝てて、このままの勢いで最後のレースも勝ってワールドチャンピオンになりたいと思います。
I think I think in the 3 races, that was the best one that I've done so far. I want to keep this momentum and go into the final race and take the world champion.
I think the one thing I want to ask you, Igor, is obviously we've had race 3, but I kind of want to talk about race 2. What happened there?
In the race 2, my car had very aggressive tire wear, so it was very difficult to keep the car on the track until the end. You know, there was a slight contact with Yamanaka-san, and my car was just sliding all around. And unfortunately, I came down to 4th. And, but it still have one race to go, and I want just to give my best, and let's see. Anything can happen still.
How do you, if you have a bad race, how do you let that go? Because that must be one of the hardest things, to just sort of say, okay, let's do better next time. How do you do it?
Yeah, it's actually very difficult, but I always try to look forward. And, in this time, you don't have time to, think much about the past, what happened. So I just try to, always look farther and learn from my mistakes and try to do even better.
Okay. How do you feel going in? What's going to be your strategy for this final race?
Well, I don't know. Maybe starting on the softs. We'll see. I mean, we might do some...
You haven't made your mind up yet.
There's just so many options, so many combinations. I mean, the hards on these Red Bull standards really brings the pace down. The softs are just amazing. The mediums are somewhere in between. But I think that at the start, everyone's going to try and go aggressive, make as many positions as possible. So my best chance, I would say, would be on softs.
Okay, there's a lot of things to consider here, but thank you so much. Good luck, in the final race. We're about to go to that final race. Let's find out how it's all going to play out. Monte Carlo, the iconic playground of the rich and famous. And home to one of the most technical street circuits in F1. They've been racing here in the Principality now for over 89 years, but things have definitely changed since Louis II was prince. The Fairmount hairpin, perhaps the most famous turn in racing, has challenged legends from every era of racing. From 5-time Monaco Grand Prix winner Graham Hill to 5-time F1 champion Lewis Hamilton. Today, another chapter in racing history will be written. Drivers from around the world are once again here in Monaco to race on tracks from all over the planet. Today, we'll crown our first FIA-certified Gran Turismo Championships Nations Cup World Champion. Yes, and this is what they are all racing for, this beautiful, beautiful trophy based off of Umberto Boccioni. Yes, the unique forms of continuity in space. We did a little bit of art research there.
We did, yeah. Umberto Boccioni, one of the futurist movement at the turn of the start of the 20th century. Did you know that? The futurist movement,
I didn't get that far down the page.
They focused very much on youth, on speed, on movement, and on cars as well. So quite fitting, seriously, that it is the trophy for the World Champion tonight, our first one ever. And it's the kind of ethos that very much fits with Katsunori's vision and also the Gran Turismo ethos as well, you know?
Do you feel a bit sad? Because I feel a bit sad that it's the last race.
That it's coming to the end?
Yeah.
I do a bit, yeah. But look, we've got one more race to look forward to, and it's going to be an absolute cracker, and it's at another legendary circuit. To take us round it, I had a quick chat with Canada's Jeffrey Gallant. So, the legendary Lassat circuit at Le Mans then for the finals, and we've got a guy here, Jeffrey Gallant, from Canada, who, well, you were just telling me actually before that you've never been outside of Canada before Las Vegas. I know that you haven't been to this circuit in real life, but you must have driven it plenty of times in Gran Turismo.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've been playing this for 6 or 7 years, and the circuit is one of the fastest circuits in the world. Even the slow sections of the racetrack, you can still take the slow sections and the bus stop and the first chicane is like near 100, 120 kilometers an hour. The first section, the first 2 apexes of the chicane, you have to nail those, get the good exit. And then near the end of the first sector, make sure you take that last corner, the last right-hander kink, flat out. You gotta have a good exit for the long straightaway. And then the 2 bus stops in the back straightaway. The same thing as everywhere else on the circuit, you can take those so much faster than you think. Make sure you have good exits. Near the middle section of the track, there's a 3rd gear left-hander with a really banked corner. You can take that near like 160 kilometers an hour. You need a lot of cojones to take that.
Yeah.
And then the last sector of the course, especially with the Porsche curbs, you can take that full throttle in these cars. No other car can do that, maybe besides a Formula 1 car.
And for you to be tackling this circuit, as I said, it's a legendary place, and in the World Finals, how special is that?
Oh, it's almost like a dream come true. It's great to meet all these competitors and be able to race on this track and be in the World Final. I can't really ask for anything better than this right now.
Listen, we wish you all the very best in this one. Good luck, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Jeffrey, with lots of work to do around the home to the world's oldest active sports car racing, endurance racing, the Le Mans 24-hour, of course, and the ideal place to put the Gran Turismo Red Bull X 2014 car to the ultimate test. We heard Jeffrey there discuss some of the key points on almost 14 kilometers of private and public tarmac. This is one of the longest circuits in the world, and certainly one of the most famous.
Wow, yes. Let's take a look also at the particular car, obviously, that we're going to be driving in for this one. Well, not me personally.
Not you personally, no. Not the way you drove that GT3 car earlier,
leave
anyway.
it alone.
Listen, this the Red Bull X 2014 Standard. This is the brainchild, if you like, the fantasy of Red Bull racing engineering guru Adrian Newey. It's got front and rear wheel covers and a glass canopy to reduce the air resistance. Double plane front wing, 2-litre turbocharged V6 engine, producing 788 brake horsepower. So lots of power going through the tyres in this one. 9 laps, 1-time fuel consumption, and each driver must use each tyre type at least once. So they don't get a choice here. Obviously, they do get to choose which order. So with identical cars, tyre strategy could well be where this race is won and lost, and driver ability as well, of course.
That's very true.
Well, what it's all about.
Okay, I don't want to say the next thing because that means it's nearly over, but it is time for our final race of the Nations Cup. We're super excited here. You guys are all excited here to see the final race?
Oh, yeah.
Let's put them all out of their misery and chuck it over to our commentators. Let's see how this all plays out.
Good luck, guys.
Well, they're happy, excited. I think we're excited. Hopefully you are excited. Let's get ready to go racing for the final time in the FIA certified Gran Turismo Championships Nations Cup. It is the final race, and here are the points going into it. Yamanaka on 38 points, Fraga on 30, Latkovsky on 29, then it is Hizao, Lopez, Yoshida. They are split by just 2 points. Then we had Kalatza next. Jonathan Wong is 9th, and it's Kokibin, Mangano, Blashan, Portilla, Saswillo, Law, and Rubelat. Double points in this one, Jimmy, in those X 2014 cars around Le Mans. Even though Igor Fraga may have struggled in the last 2 races, he's still well in play for this one. This one is far from decided.
Definitely, and that's. I'm glad it came down this way. I mean, of course, we were almost in a little bit of. There could have been a chance this could have been an easy session for Igor Fraga, but completely not the case whatsoever. And here we go then, race start, last race of the Nations Cup World Final. Well, what can we say? It has been a fantastic journey for myself, for Chris, and for everybody here in Monaco for the Nations Cup. The final round of the season is about to get underway. Let's go through our grid. It's Yamanaka starting on pole position at the moment. Then it will be back to Lotkowski in second. The Australian driver looking very feisty all through the competition. Third is Mick Hazal, our European champion, still in with his shout. Shogo Yoshida will be fourth in that Japanese livery X 2014. Fifth is Jonathan Wong after a fantastic result at Monza. And then down to sixth, it's Giorgio Mangano, the Italian favourite. After that, I'm going to ask them twice. Then our Asia Oceania champion, Ryoto Kokeberg, in seventh. Eighth position is Carrazza, the Brazilian. Started strong but faded slightly towards the end there. It's Jeff Gallen, the Lloyd Elite, not Lloyd Delight, as I said many times throughout the superstars. Igor Fraga, our America's champion, starts in 10th position. Coque Lopez, the Spanish driver, in 11th. Then down in 12th is Portilla, a bit lower down than he would have liked to have been. Patrick Bajan, after his mistake at Monza, starting well down the field in 13th position. Someone who hasn't performed as well as he thought, Adam Susmillo, 14th position. Then down to 15th, Jack Van Law. And rounding out the grid for this final race is Nico Rubler, Nico R. Chris, let's do it.
Indeed. Right, here we go. History about to be written here in Monaco. We are about to crown the inaugural champion of the FIA GT Championship Nations Cup World Final. First in the points it is Yamanaka, and he starts on pole position. Fraga, who is second in the points, starts in 10th, but he was quickest around here on Friday during qualifying, so definitely one to watch, and he's gone for the hard tyre. However, with a 9-point advantage, a top 3 finish for Yamanaka should be enough to seal the deal, so he's in a very good position at the moment, but Latkovsky will want something to say about that. In second place, he is, of course, third in the point standings, chasing an overall victory. Right, take a deep breath, everyone. Let's get ready to go racing for the final time in 2018. And Yamanaka leads us down towards turn number 1. Latkovsky in second place. Hazal in third. All on the soft tyres will be looking to get away early. Please have a clean start to the race, everyone. Latkovsky trying to challenge for the lead as they go in towards the Dunlop chicane. Yamanaka just holding on. Hazal there in third place. Then it is Yoshida in fourth. Wong is fifth. Mangano in sixth at the moment. Then we have Carrazza, Kokeberg, Gallen, Fraga. Watch for him in 10th place. He has a title to chase down here, but Yamanaka leads us through Tex Rouge for the first time, Jimmy.
Our top 3 streaking away from the field. Yamanaka has a slight gap over Latkovsky and Hazal. Hazal will have the slipstream on Latkovsky coming down to the first Mulsanne chicane for the first time of asking. He goes to the inside, wants to get past nice and quick. Latkovsky comes across to block the move. Hizao still on the inside though. Who's going to break first? It will be Lukowski. He'll just about keep the position for now. But Yamanaka holding the position, but he's not in the best place right now. He's giving a slipstream to both Lukowski and to Hizao at this stage. And Shogo Yoshida just about holding on the background, but the top three making a very quick start indeed.
And Lukowski draws alongside Yamanaka as they head down towards the second chicane. And he's through the Australian. He's into the race lead on the opening lap. Here comes Mick Hizao. Is it going to be 3 wide into the chicane? I think it is. Hizao dives to the inside. Oh, all three going to emerge. They do. And Mick Hizao has taken the race lead. Lukowski drops to second place. Yamanaka down to third place. But that should be enough to take overall victory. However, his countryman Shogo Yoshida could come into play as well in fourth. But Mick Hizao and Lukowski are still going at it out front, Jimmy, as we come down towards Mulsanne. Is Lukowski going to dive to the inside? He stays in second for now.
What a fantastic move by Hizao. Very much the opportunist, the German driver, and now starting to pull away from Lukowski. But now another long straight on the run down to Indianapolis. So Lukowski will have the toe, as will Yamanaka behind. Now, what will Cody do? He goes to the outside, he has the run. He's now in front of Hizao coming down to Indianapolis. But now the slipstream runs out. The German driver still there on the inside, and Cody Lukowski takes the lead of the race temporarily, coming down to Indianapolis, now down to the slowest corner on the circuit. Arnage, let's see how good Cody and Hizao are on the brakes. Both good through there. In fact, if anything, Lukowski is a little bit wide on exit, and now Hizao will have the toe coming up to the Porsche curves. If he can get in front for the Porsche curves, he'll have the advantage because of the dirty air. Lukowski comes across, but it's a bit too late. They're going to be side by side coming into the first right hand of the Porsche curves. Lukowski gets the throttle, and Hizao back into the lead.
3 different leaders in just 3/4 of a lap. What a fantastic race. This is already deserved of the title, of course, the FIA GT Championship World Final in the Nations Cup. And Mick Hizao will lead us across the line, will he, at the end of lap number 1. Of course, the top 3 on soft tyres. Yamanaka, I think, staying out of this one. He, of course, top 3 finish should do it for him, so I think he's just happy to stay where he is for now. But Hizao it is who takes the first lap in the lead. Lukowski in second, Yamanaka third. There you can see Lukowski to the bottom left of your picture. Look at the focus of the American. And Jimmy, there's Igor Fraga. He's up to 7th already and challenging Jonathan Wong.
So Fraga still very much in the fight, but you can see that as soon as Hizao got to a series of corners, he pulled away from Cody Lukowski. But now, of course, coming back up the straight, Cody will pull back in the slipstream. Now Karatsa, I wonder if he is knowledgeable to his countryman's situation. Will he help out at all, or is it every man for himself? He does have a penalty which he'll have to serve rather soon, but Igor Fraga right now is by far the first of the hard runners, but very wide the touch rouge. That's probably going to be a penalty. Yamanaka with a 0.8-second penalty, and here comes Shogo Yoshida. Now, I don't know what this would do. We need some live point standings, really, but...
Well, I think that's it. He's going to have, what, 14 points, I think that is, he'll take, which means that Hizao and Lukowski should go past him, but we'll get live points for you in just a second. Hizao still leads from Lukowski, but Yamanaka crucially out of the top 3. Here is Igor Fraga, now trying to go up to 6th place. We'll come back to that. I think Jimmy will keep an eye on that. I'll keep an eye on the lead for the time being, because Lukowski has drawn alongside Hizao, and he's back into the race lead.
And also Igor Fraga is past Jonathan Wong up into 6th position, so our championship contenders are all making moves right now. Lukowski and Hizao gets sideways off the second chicane. That might be enough to break the toe. See, Lukowski gives a nod, goes, okay, I needed that, but he's still well within the slipstream range to be putting back in again. Now here's Shogo Yoshida. He's now in front of Yamanaka after Yamanaka's penalty he had to serve. Yamanaka will go back past his countryman, and Shogo Yoshida not really putting up that much of a fight, Chris.
Yeah, so Yamanaka back into 3rd, crucially. So big move that from Yamanaka. He's, of course, on the soft tyres as well. Jimmy, how big is this? He's on soft tyres, and he's 3 seconds back from the other 2 drivers that are on soft tyres battling for the lead.
But Igor Fraga is in 6th on the hard tyre and was well within the medium compound ones. We saw how good he was here in qualifying. So Igor Fraga very much the one to watch, but Mick Hizao has moved back into the lead, coming down to Indianapolis. There it is on your screen right now, just going past in the slipstream, coming up to Arnage. Now really, ideally, you want to be the car leading going coming into the Porsche curves. Mick Hazal a bit too impatient on the throttle there, coming out of the slowest corner of the circuit. And Makovsky once more will be able to gain in on this straight. Will Hazal defend? A flash of the lights there from the Australian driver says, look at me, here I come, goes round the outside. Hazal does not lift, lifts out eventually. Kosky is now going to lead into the Porsche curves. Just switching places right now. This could be anyone's game, Chris.
So Latkovsky back into the lead then. He and Hazal trading places as we've got an incident involving Nicholas Rudler and Yatlam Law down the field. So bad days go even worse for them. Jonathan Wong has a penalty in 7th as well. But Igor Fraga doing a fantastic job, as you said, Jimmy. On the harder tyre, he's getting the slowest tyre out of the way first. Not only is he getting it out of the way, but he's moving forward. He's gained 4 places so far as Kokibun goes past Karatsa. We just peeled away from that battle to return to this because Jimmy, we're about to go on to that Mulsanne straight very shortly, and Hazal is definitely close enough to get the toe and potentially make a move.
Now, this is very interesting because Igor Fraga, the reason why he's being kept in contention is because of the slipstream. If he pitted in now and went to, say, the medium or the soft compound, he might be left without a slipstream partner, which would then see him fall down the field. So he's really thinking about when he needs to come in. He is just about within reach of Giorgio Mangano. If he can get onto the back there of the Italian driver, I say that, he moves up into 4th position. Fraga into 5th. Yoshida makes a mistake, down to 6th, and must have got a penalty or something.
Now, there's been pit stops, so some drivers have come off the hard tyre. However, Igor Fraga has stayed on them, I think, as you said, because he's got the toe. So that was a good spot there. Igor Fraga, 1.2 seconds behind Mango, so he should be closing in down the straight as well. Meanwhile, Hazal and Latkovsky are split by around 8/10 of a second. This on board now with Karatsa, who's being closed in by Ryoto Kokibun. Not the day we expected for Kokibun, but can he get a good result in the grand final? Down towards Mulsanne we go. In fact, this is, of course, going towards the chicane. So Kokibun there in 8th place, closing in.
Here is the slipstream in effect. The Asia Oceania regional champion closing into the back of Karatsa, coming down to 2nd chicane. Igor Fraga has gone up into 4th position on the hard tyre. How has he managed that? He's stayed with Giorgio Mangano. What a drive for the Brazilian driver so far. He knows he has to score well in this place if he wants any chance of coming away with the FIA GT Championship Nations Cup. But still a long race to go.
Jimmy, I think he's actually quicker than Yamanaka on the soft tyre, if you can believe it or not. Right, live points. Yamanaka one point ahead of Latkovsky. Hazal 3rd with 45 points. So Latkovsky needs to hang on to that lead and hope Yamanaka drops back.
This is absolutely insane, Chris. I think that live point ranking was before Fraga went up into 4th position, so he actually would overtake Mick Hazal and be in 3rd. But Giorgio Mangano actually opted to stay behind the Brazilian driver. Now, when does Igor Fraga pit? Will he come in now with the rest of the soft runners? Because in reality, he has made the hard tyre go the same speed as the guys on the soft. So imagine his pace when he finally switches to a faster tyre, actually pulling away from Giorgio Mangano coming out of Arnaja. Look there up the road, 3rd position. Yamanaka is being gained on by Igor Fraga and Giorgio Mangano. Look at Fraga through the Porsche curves. Giorgio Mangano has no chance of hanging with the Brazilian. What speed he has right now. He is far from down and out.
He knows what's at stake. He wants that world final title. Igor Fraga may have had 1 or 2 little errors today and been involved in 1 or 2 incidents, but he is recovering in style right into the pits. Mikhail Hazal, Yamanaka comes into the pits, and Igor Fraga comes into the pits, but Latkovsky, Jimmy, stays out.
This could be terrible for Latkovsky. He has no slipstream partner. It's going to be on worn soft tyres, whereas everyone behind him is going to be all close together, and of course slipstreaming down the straight, which is worth about a second or 2 a lap. Latkovsky is probably going to end up after his pit stop behind this train. We'll wait until all the pit stops are done and dusted before we call who is where. But Ryuto Kokibun and Shogo Yoshida, who have not pitted, move up into 2nd and 3rd place. Mick Hazal keeps the 4th place, and Yamanaka 5th. Fraga on the medium tyre, he is the one to watch.
Well, all I can say for Latkovsky, did he just want a lap with no pressure, put the blinkers on and just go for it. Is that what he wanted, a qualifying style lap without a tow? I mean, that's of course what he's not going to have, but he hasn't been having that whilst keeping Mikkel Hizal at bay. Here's Igor Fraga back out in 6th place on the medium tyre, as are Yamanaka and Hizal, and he's only getting closer. The gap is now 1.5 seconds to Yamanaka and Hizal.
Igor Fraga loves this car, very similar in terms of downforce. He drives, of course, a single-seat Formula car in real-life racing. It's about as near as you're going to get in Gran Turismo without being in another Formula car itself. And look at him gain on Yamanaka. So 1.3 seconds the gap now. But also have a little bit of draft, and again the heart rate there about 150 beats per minute. So in the zone right now is Igor Fraga. He's got Giorgio Mangano behind as well, keeping him honest. But we have to see what happens with Latkovsky once he comes in, surely at the end of this lap.
Yeah, he's going to have to come in. He's actually being caught by Ryota Kokubun. The gap has come down by just under a second, actually. So that's what it's been costing Latkovsky. May actually be a little bit less than that, a few tenths, I'd say. But Igor Fraga now in the tow of Yamanaka, trying to close in on the Japanese driver who leads the points at the moment as they go in towards Mulsanne. On the brakes, Fraga, where he's very strong, of course, is the right of the Porsche curves. But will he be as strong this time now, Jimmy? Now he's following Yamanaka.
I think watch and learn is what I'll say.
Well, why don't you talk us through it?
Now, I could not foresee the final of this Nations Cup being so tense. There are so many different possibilities coming out of that. Of course, Igor Fraga is the one making them happen. Meanwhile, back for 9th, 10th, 11th, it is Seswillo, Gallen and Blajan. Patrick Blajan, a favourite for a lot of people coming into this series, hasn't really delivered, not quite had the pace. Of course, big mistake at Monza last time out, could paid to his chances realistically, but still in 9th, he's still in the top 10. And here is Adam Seswillo, another person who was very, very fast in the superstar races, but doesn't quite perform the same in the live events, it seems.
Yeah, well, let's, of course, we'll get you some points updates once all the pit stops have been made. I think that'll be the best time to look at it. Right, Latkovsky in. He lost about half a second, 6/10 on that lap. He's now into the pits. Let's see where he emerges. He goes on the medium tyre. Kokubun peels in as well, but not really part of the fight for the lead, of course, nor the title. Oh, Yoshida using a bit of gravel to come through into the pits, and he's going to go on the soft tyre. Right, here comes Hizal. Does he inherit the race lead now from Latkovsky? And if so, how much by? Across the line they come. Let's see if Latkovsky appears. Where will he come out? Hizal is into the lead, and Latkovsky is he second? Let's wait and see. He is. So Latkovsky second. He's lost 2 seconds. 2.2 seconds lost for Latkovsky in that pit stop. Yamanaka third, Fraga fourth. He'll be kicking himself, Jimmy.
And that is the undercut we were talking about. Mick Hizal making good use of those medium tyres and giving himself a 2.6-second advantage. European champion showing why he is one of the best in the world right now. The bold strategic move. You can see on the screen right there. There is Mick Hizal, and as always, just leaning back, looking as cool as anything. Well, I'm sure he knows this man is on a charge though, Igor Fraga. And here are the live points rankings as they would be. Yamanaka would still take the title. Mick Hizal will be second, Latkovsky fourth, Igor Fraga would be fourth, and Latkovsky will be third. But here is Fraga with Karatsa side by side with his Brazilian counterpart. Get out of the way, says Fraga. I've got a championship to win. But again, no love lost between these two guys. Once they get onto the circuit, it's all business.
So there we go. There you can see the points at the moment. Yamanaka leading by 5 points from Hizal. He just needs to try and stay in this top 3, but Fraga is getting closer. Well, there we go. He's pushing along Karatsa up to the back of Yamanaka. Interesting tactics there.
And look how much closer they've got by doing that. Yamanaka goes a little bit wide in the second Mulsanne now. Will Fraga slipstream the both of them? Yamanaka in third, Karatsa fourth. They've got the slipstream. They'll probably have a look down to the Mulsanne corner. Here comes Karatsa. Where will Yamanaka go? He puts the car in the middle of the road and weaves back to the left, squeezes the Brazilian driver to the outside. Fraga looks to try and follow him through. Thinks better of it. That was a wise move by Fraga. No point getting involved in that point. But Karatsa goes up into fourth, and now Fraga is going to have the slipstream on Yamanaka and will likely pass him on the way down to Indy.
Well, the gap between Yamanaka and his Hal drops too far. Just 3 points, sorry, with 2 points lost there for Yamanaka. And it could be 2 points more if Fraga comes by, which would mean there'd just be 1 point between the pairs. So this turning into a really close place. But Yamanaka doesn't want any of that. He's going to try and fight back, going in towards Indianapolis. Yamanaka dives down the inside and he's third. Fraga comes through to take fourth. Brilliant overtaking there.
I don't know about that. That was a little bit silly by Yamanaka, because now, look, Igor Fraga, one of his main competitors, is right on the back, and he has the slipstream. He has the hot seat coming down to the Porsche curves. He'll have the slipstream. He'll go slingshot past. There he goes, right onto the outside circuit, kicks up the dust, dirty line through there. But he goes up into third position, and Karatsa follows him through. But importantly for Fraga, he now has a clear track. He will now hunt down Cody Lukowski and Mick Hazal and do his best to bring that gap down. What a drive by the Brazilian driver. He started in 10th position.
He's up to third place and he's yet to use the soft tyre. So Igor Fraga, when he bolts those on, I wonder how quick he'll be. Karatsa there, he's running in 5th place at the moment. Worth a quick mention, of course. He's having a really strong day. Now he's in the tow of Igor Fraga. What's going to happen? Are they going to work together or are they going to fight? 3.4 seconds up the road is Cody Nikola Latkovsky. What do you reckon?
Well, look at this. Karatsa is not giving Fraga any room at all. He's harrying his fellow countrymen. I think they'll be catching Lukowski fairly quickly, especially if they work together as they have been. Of course, there's no rules against doing that, although you are directly fighting each other. There's no team points here. And there is the live point ranking if things finish as they were. Yamanaka 50, Hazal 49, Lukowski 49, and Igor Fraga 46. So Fraga, a couple more places, and there you go.
Well, Latkovsky, if he wins the race and things stay as they are, he will be champion. That's what the Australian is chasing down at the moment, but Igor Fraga could be the one to destroy his chances. Of course, he wants to win it himself. He's on 46 points at the moment, only 4 points behind Yamanaka. So there is Igor Fraga in third, as you said, Jimmy. Latkovsky is getting closer. He's closed in by 7/10 since they've come back out onto the circuit. So Latkovsky going along very well. It won't be long before he's picking up a toe and really drawing in.
But Fraga has the advantage. He has the soft tyres left. And here is a fight behind Yamanaka and Blajan. And Yamanaka needs to keep this place. If he doesn't keep this place right now and the race finished as it was, he'd lose out on the Nations Cup. He'd lose out on the Nations Cup, wouldn't he? He wouldn't get the cup.
Right the first time.
Yeah, there you go. It's the rare time where I say it right on the first occasion. But Yamanaka needs to keep Blajan behind, and Blajan is having absolutely none of it. He's on the soft tyre, through the inside he goes, and just like that, Yamanaka at the moment is not the Nations Cup winner. It would be Cody Lukowski.
This is brilliant stuff here at the Nations Cup World Final.
Oh, sorry, it would be Hazal.
Blajan is through, and we have a new leader, everyone, in the Nations Cup, and his name is Michael Hazal. He is tied on points with Cody Nikola Latkovsky, but because he is ahead on track, that means he is the champion. 1 point behind them is Yamanaka, and only 3 points behind them is Igor Fraga. Did we expect? We knew it was going to be close, Jimmy. Did you expect it to be this close?
This can go any way at the moment. I'm feeling rather smug right now because I call Cody Lukowski as my outside chance. He very much has come to fruition there. Yamanaka just not able to match the pace of everybody else right now, and the gap at the front of the field down to a second at the moment. Lukowski really reeling in the German driver, but he's going to have to go to the hard tyres for his last stint, and I think end of this lap maybe Fraga will be in the pit lane to bulk on those softs. Then you'll see how fast that Brazilian can hustle the Red Bull X2010 round here, the circuit to the side. Here is Patrick Blajan. In comes Mick Hazal. In comes Lukowski. They're both going to go onto the hard tyres. Now, realistically, if they want to beat Fraga, they have to work together. Fraga comes in for the soft tyre. It's going to be hard versus soft. I don't see any way that Fraga cannot win this. You see down in the graphic in the bottom left, 3.3 seconds a lap. a lap the racing hard tyre is slower than the soft. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic finale.
We're tied on points as it stands. That will of course change whilst pit stops are being made. This is the second and final pit stops now being made. Hizal comes back onto the track. Latkovsky around 1 second behind. 1.2 make that as they make their way then through Dunlop chicane. Igor Farga 3.3 seconds back with soft tyres. So if our graphics correct, he'll be with them at the end of this lap.
This is going to be one of the closest finishes we have ever had, and what time is better than this one? At the moment, it's Giorgio Mangano who leads at the moment. He still owns a pit stop, as does Shogo Yoshida behind. So with Mick Hizal, that will inherit the lead when all is done. But look, Igor Fraga on the soft compound of tyres. On the soft compound of tyres, you can go through Tertre Rouge flat in this car. And we saw in qualifying just how dominant Fraga was when he had the soft tyre, had a track to himself, but now he's got slipstream, and we know the Brazilian is hungry for the win here.
He's already closed in by 1 second. Already 1 second, make that 1.3. It's now less than 2 seconds between Fraga, Latkovsky and Hizal. He's going to be quite simply unstoppable, in my opinion.
Race director, please give us a camera on Mick Hizal, Latkovsky and Fraga. That is the fight for your championship right now. We're looking at Patrick Bajan behind Karatsa. At the moment, this wouldn't really have that much of an effect on the championship standings, other than Yamanaka has fallen down to 8th. Bajan's going to go to the inside now, I think. No, stays behind. Let's see what's happening up front. The gap between Hizal and Latkovsky is a second, but the gap between Latkovsky and Fraga is 1.5 seconds. It's coming down all the time. Mr. Race Director, please give us a camera. Yes. There we go. There is Hizal. There's Latkovsky. There's Fraga. That is the gap. There are no more pit stops. It's now a straight fight to the end. Fraga with a soft tyre is going to have the advantage, but we know Mick Hizal is talented. We know Latkovsky is talented. This is still anyone's game.
This is it, 2.5 laps remaining. Mick Hizal, third place, but leading, of course, once Mangano and Yoshida come in. He gives us a wave. Hello, Mick Hizal. Yes, you're fighting for the world title, but you don't seem too worried about it. Mick Hizal has a 1 second advantage over Latkovsky, but Igor Fraga, of course, closing in. The gap is now only 1.2 seconds between Latkovsky and Fraga. He's closed in by over 2 seconds, and we haven't even got to the Porsche curves yet, so watch for Igor Fraga come the end of this lap. He's going to be absolutely on fire. This is fantastic stuff there. You can see the German commentators thought they'd be going even more mental, because their boy at the moment is going to take victory. Mick Hizal there, once Mangano and Yoshida come into the pits, will re-inherit the lead. And look at the gap coming down, Jimmy, as they go through the Porsche curves. It's now less than 1 second.
Even with the dirty air, Igor Fraga absolutely homing in on the back of Kota Latkovsky. This time by will be the penultimate lap as Mangano and Yoshida come into the pit lane, so they'll go back down behind our 3 leaders. But Fraga, look, on traction, under braking, through the fast corners, everywhere Fraga is faster with this tyre, and the gap now down to less than a second on Kota Latkovsky, and 1.5 seconds to the leader, Mick Hizal. We do actually have an incident with Gallen and Yamanaka. Yamanaka all the way down in 11th position, so it's fair to say I think his challenge is over, and here comes Igor Fraga to the inside of Kota Latkovsky. Have the inside line here, will be on the outside for left-hander, and Igor Fraga, is he through? Yes, he is. Igor Fraga up into second position. One more car remaining. That is Mick Hizal in front, and he will be leading this race from 10th to 2nd, and only 1 second remaining. As it stands right now, he would be the champion.
Yeah, Igor Fraga doesn't even need to go past Mick Hizal to win the title, so it's looking very, very much in the favour of Igor Fraga, as Yamanaka, who's quite simply fallen to pieces, just picks up a warning there, so goodness knows what's going on with Yamanaka. He's in 10th place on the hard tyre. He is out of this now, and look at Mick Hizal there. He's just looking up in the mirrors. He knows what's coming. It's a Brazilian named Igor Fraga, who's already in the lead of the Nations Cup, but he wants to win to go with it. Here he is in the tow, going down to the chicane, looks to the outside. Igor Fraga, he'll be patient with this one. He'll be very, very patient, Jimmy.
He knows he's got the pace, no need to do anything rash at this point. Here is Igor Fraga looking to the right. No, he's going to push Mick Gazelle. He doesn't want anything to do with Cody Lutkowski at this point. They're working together to try and escape Cody Lutkowski, and that is working. Now the gap up to 1.7 seconds between him and the Australian driver, and Fraga there being very clever, thinking he'd rather fight one person than two.
Well, let's find out what the Portuguese commentators have to say, because Igor Fraga, of course, leading the way.
Igor Fraga vai ser campeão do mundo!
Isso não tá fácil, isso não tá fácil.
É o Igor Fraga, o Igor vai passar no Azal. Espetacular aí. Já não precisa de mais posição, mas ele quer ganhar a corrida porque já está na frente.
Vamos embora,
Igor Fraga! Lá na frente! Galera do Brasil, galera do Brasil!
Well, they're happy. Igor Fraga into the lead of the final race here at the Nations Cup World Final. Leader on points, leader on track. 1 lap to go next time he crosses the line. Igor Fraga, is this it? Is it done and dusted? Can Mikel Azal put out something special? Can he do what Igor Fraga did on the hard tyre and compete with those on the soft tyre? Up to the Porsche curves we go. Azal should drop away now because Fraga on those soft tyres, well, he's not, Jimmy. Mikel Azal is hanging on. Despite the dirty air and being on the hard tyre, Azal somehow managed to roughly stay with it.
He was until that last curve there, but just fell off. We're now coming on to the last lap of the race, the last lap of the 2018 FIA GT Championship, the Nations Cup final. And it's Igor Fraga, this man who is currently looking like he's going to win it, comes across the line. There are your live point standings. As it stands, Mick Gazelle and Lutkowski would be tied. Gazelle would take second, given that he finishes higher in the double point race. And Yamanaka, your leader coming into this, would be fourth. With Karatsa, he'd be fifth. So looking very good for the Brazilians at this point. The gap, 1.7 seconds. Now, will Lutkowski be able to catch Gazelle and maybe bring himself up to second position?
Igor Fraga, well, what a drive this is after what happened in races 2 and 3. Igor Fraga, he seemed very, very calm in his interview, knew the pace he had around this track in this car, and Igor Fraga has just stayed calm, taken his time throughout this race, worked his way towards the front. Yes, of course, we've had Yamanaka fall back, and that's definitely played into the hands of Igor Fraga, but nevertheless, he's put the work in. His stint on the hard tyres may be the best he's done throughout these championships, and Igor Fraga now leads by 2 seconds. This almost a parade lap for the Brazilian.
We won't call it before it happens, because stranger things have happened at sea. We'll see if Fraga can bring it home. Of course, he's in a great position right now, as Chris said, on the soft tyres, has the fastest tyres. Mick Gazelle second, Cody Lutkowski in third, and we must talk about Mick Gazelle. He was given a bit of a rough draw with cars, started 10th in the first race after a poor qualifying on the Thursday, but has managed to keep himself up in contention and bring himself back to second, and will likely finish second overall. Meanwhile, there's still a scrap going on down the field. Swillo, who we haven't seen much of, is being pushed by Jorge Lopez. They're both trying to catch up to Shogo Yoshida. They're on the soft tyres, so they have the tyre advantage. Of course, looking for a few more points to try and improve their ranking. Here is Igor Fraga. He comes through the Mulsanne corner for the last time and comes up towards Indianapolis. You can see in the background that Lutkowski has really gained on Mick Gazelle. The battle for second is not over. 1.4 seconds now. This is going to be your battle to the line, and it is the battle for second in the FIA GT Championship Nations World Final. Anyone's game at this point, Chris.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Mick Gazelle has to hold on for the next half a lap or so from Cody Nikola Lutkowski. The gap 1.4 seconds as they go into Arnage. Has he got enough? But look at this. Igor Fraga out front started 10th on the grid, and he leads the way by over 3 seconds. Started on the hard tyre, moved all the way up the order, then fought his way through to victory, and Igor Fraga is just corners away from being named the inaugural World Finals champion. He's put in a fantastic performance today. Igor Fraga, it all started with qualifying, of course, earlier in the weekend. Then we did the semi-finals. Igor Fraga may have had a rough time. some of it at times today, but he is about to write history. Igor Fraga, 1 corner to go. The Brazilian out of the chicane is named your first FIA GT champion. Here he comes across the line. He is world champion. What a result. Igor Fraga wins the 2018 World Finals champion. Oh, well, I'm lost for words. Igor Fraga, your winner.
Look what that means there for Igor Fraga. He's up on his feet, hands in the air, and a well-deserved victory, a release of emotion for the Brazilian driver. We thought he might have thrown it away at Monza, but he came back strong like he always does and absolutely decimated the field here at Le Mans. Mick Hazal comes home in a strong second place, and Konya Lukowski, an outsider coming into this competition, manages to take third. A fantastic display by all our drivers and worthy of being the top 3 in the world. And there is Carrazza with Fraga. Great to see that compatriotism there. Chris, I can't think of a better finish to this series. It's been absolutely amazing to be a part of it, and to have such a strong climax to the event. It's what this deserves.
It is, and what a performance. I mean, looking back at the performance there, Jimmy, that first stint, would you say that was what won it for him?
Definitely. I've never seen anyone be so strong on the hard tyres. He was doing soft tyre pace on hard tyres. No one could touch him. You can see just how much it means to him there. Nico Rubelar giving a little bit of a pat on the back. And let's go to the replays. Here is Yamanaka. He was leading things coming into this race, but it wasn't to be for the Japanese driver. Immediately came under attack from Hazal and Lukowski, both on him straight away, first and second, and Yamanaka down to third.
Then we went, of course, this was the battle for the lead, and they changed hands loads of times. The top 3 all led at one stage in the first half a lap. This was Carrazza, and what would be the start of a downfall for Tomoaki Yamanaka, as he was once leading the points, as you can see, despite being in third. Unfortunately, he would drop all the way to almost going out of the top 10, and that was this was his fight back on Carrazza down at Indianapolis. And that was when Fraga said thank you very much, picked up 4th, and would later go into 3rd place.
You can see Fraga there and Carrazza. They worked together for a bit, and here was Patrick Vajan going past Yamanaka. Again, things going from bad to worse for the Japanese driver. And here was Igor Fraga charging through the field, made swift work of Konya Lukowski, and then set his sights on Mick Hazal.
Yeah, well, Igor Fraga, he was quite literally unstoppable, as we said. Soft tyres for him, hard tyres for the rest. Hard luck, I think, for everyone else. Igor Fraga came through, and that was the last anyone saw of him, basically. He would steam off to go and take the World Finals victory, Jimmy.
And there it was, the moment he became the champion. Mick Hazal and Konya Lukowski came back in the background, and again, look at that, the Brazilian driver, and deservedly, absolutely exuberant with that victory. And again, the moment it's all paid off, all that work, all the races, all the superstar races, all the venues comes to this, and he wins. So here are the final standings from the race, Chris.
Well, race 4 result then. Igor Fraga took the win and the 24 points. Then it was Hazal, Lukowski. A big shout-outs to all 3 of those drivers. Of course, down the field, Tomoaki Yamanaka only walked away with 2 points. Nico Rubelar, another disappointing result for him at the back of the field.
Okay, and here you are. Here are the final standings of the FIA Certified GT Nations Cup, with Igor Fraga taking the victory with 54 points from Lukowski with 45. Mick Hazal down to 3rd there, so Lukowski, Hazal, Yamanaka 4th, Carrazza 5th, Yoshida 6th, Lopez 7th, and Patrick Vajan rounding out your top 8. Then we go down to Ryoto Kokuba 9th, Giorgio Mangano 10th, Jeff Gallen 11th, Jonathan Wong 12th, Portilla 13th, Pasquillo 14th, Yap Lam Law 15th, and Rubelar, a disappointing series there, down in 16th position. So that's it, Chris. That's us all said and done. We have a new champion. Fantastic.
Well, let's find out what that champion has to say. Igor Fraga is with Julia.
Yes, I'm here with the winner, the first. Okay, just calm down. How do you feel?
I don't know. It's like, you know, I was just trying to do my best to win this race, and even, you know, winning the race, I needed to have like kind of lucky result with the other guys to be that champion, and I'm just not believing. It's unreal.
I mean, you had us a little bit worried earlier on, but you managed to pull it back. So was it the little chat we had earlier made you feel better?
Yeah, maybe, and maybe trying to speak with other people just distract a bit your mind, and you get calmed down a little bit, and maybe think better for the next one. Who knows?
I mean, I don't think it was really anything to do with me. I think it was your supreme driving. I mean, what do you want to say to all the other drivers out there who you've competed against over the past few days?
Yeah, they were really strong, and all the weekend. You saw that I also had like a difficult time during the races. So, this showed that how good the other drivers are also. But, the last race, I think I made one of my best race in my life. And, it was such amazing.
Oh, well, huge congratulations. It's been amazing to watch you race. We'll have, obviously, the trophy presentation in a little bit. You go sit down, relax, have a drink of water, and we'll go and have a chat with Matt, who's got some very, very special guests.
Yeah, I think we all need a rest and a glass of water, Julia, after that one. It was a fantastic race, and also just getting his breath back here. As you said, a very special guest here, the Deputy Vice President for Sport at the FIA, Mr. Graham Stoker. Graham, you were just saying to me, you're exhausted after watching that. What an incredible event.
What an exciting race. And on my favourite circuit, that was fabulous.
What did you make of the event as the whole, the racing throughout, and particularly the sportsmanship and camaraderie here?
Well, the sportsmanship and camaraderie is fabulous, but what I'm noticing is the racecraft, the lines, the decisions on tyres. I mean, this is real racing, very exciting.
Yeah, that's right, isn't it? And it's all stuff that's hopefully for some of these guys at least going to transfer to the real world. Do you see these two kind of forms of racing getting ever closer together in the future?
Yeah, we're looking at this. We're proud to be associated with it. We're looking at it for talent detection. I want to see it go around the world looking for talent. And there's a lot of talent here tonight.
So the FIA not just putting, of course, their name and their stamp of approval on this event, Graham, but also actually looking at it as, something serious for the future.
This is an integral part of motorsport. The Olympics are interested. We're, as a global federation, interested. We want to see this grow.
Fantastic. I'm really glad you enjoyed yourself, Graham, and thanks for your support.
My pleasure.
Okay, enjoy the rest of the evening. And, well, we're going to get our podium back out here in just a few moments. In the meantime, let's cross back to Chris and Jimmy.
Well, it was, I think, a pretty dramatic way for Igor Fraga to pick it up in the end. I think not just talking about that race in terms of a whole, wasn't it? There was a lot of drama for Igor Fraga throughout the event. I think we're going to go into some replays now and have a look at how Igor Fraga became the world champion, because he did do a real fantastic job to pick up the title over 5 races, essentially, because we had the semi-final yesterday, of course, where on Friday, where we did pick up points. And then we had 4 races today, Jimmy. So it was won over 5 races. Let's take a look at the 4 races that were made up today and how Igor Fraga won it.
Here was the first race in the BMW M4, led from pole as he likes to do. Easy victory by his standards. And the M4 made it look easy anyway. And here's where things started to become a little more tricky for Fraga. Contact with Yamanaka on the last lap at Interlagos saw him go from the lead eventually down to 4th position. But here was the stint where he made his mark. On the medium and on the hard tyres, he showed extreme pace, and then on the soft tyre, just proceeded to decimate both 2nd and 3rd position and take the lead away from the European champion, Mick Hazal.
And this was then Igor Fraga. He had gone into the race lead there, and that was the moment he took the victory in the Nations Cup World Final. This was him then coming through the final corner, and here is what it meant to him. I'm sure we'll hopefully pick up Igor Fraga celebrating. There it is. That's what it means. That's how it feels to win a World Final. Can't say I've done it myself, but now I know what it feels like.
Me neither, Chris. I need to say one thing before we do continue, and that is that Mick Hazal was actually classified as 2nd overall in the series there, but a mistake on our graphic. But coming back to that, look at that. Absolutely. I love to see such a positive release of emotion from someone there, and Igor Fraga, I think, deservedly taking that.
And good sportsmanship all round. Everyone straight up to congratulating him. The drivers actually jumped onto the stage. Whoops. Were the racing incident by our commentary box. We're actually manufacturer series drivers. They all of them in the studio here all really enjoyed that race. I really enjoyed that race. Any personal highlights for you throughout today? Of course, it's hard to look away from that stint, but anything else throughout the day that you particularly enjoyed?
I mean, I really enjoyed seeing Mick Hazal and his his pushback, essentially, from being out of the competition almost and then coming back to somehow finishing in second position overall. But guys, that is it from us here at Monaco, and that is it from us at the season. Both Chris and I have been along for this fantastic ride that has been the 2018 FIA GT Championships, both the Nations Cup and the manufacturers. We started in the warehouse and we ended up at Monaco. Not a bad shout at all, was it, Chris?
It's not bad. That's not a bad way to go. Who knows what will happen next time? Well, let's go over then to the podium. It's time to award the trophies and crown our champion.
Third place from Australia, Cody Lakowski. And on to the second step of the podium. What a drive it was, what a weekend for the man Mikael Lightning Hizal. And in first place, born in Japan but representing Brazil, and how your FIA certified Gran Turismo Championships Nations Cup World Champion, Igor Fraga. And please welcome to present our trophy for third place, the chairman of SIE Worldwide Studios, Sean Layden. And to present our trophy for second place, please welcome the FIA Deputy President for Sport, Graham Stoker. And before he gets his trophy, he also takes a watch on behalf of Tiger. Please welcome the official timing partner of GT Sport, Tiger, represented by Olivier Volery. And to present our trophy, this wonderful trophy for our first ever world champion, please welcome the brains behind this whole event and this game indeed as well. The producer of the Gran Turismo series, Katsunori Yamauchi, and your world champion once again, Igor Fraga. Please now be upstanding for the national anthem of our race winner, Brazil.
look at him. Did you see his face, Matt, as he was standing there listening to his national anthem? You could feel the pride just beaming out of him. He's worked so hard to get that place on the podium.
He's worked hard as an IRL driver, online. He's done everything he needed to do to get himself here. This is the culmination of a life's work really for these guys, you know, and this is just the start for them as well. This is only going to get bigger and better in the future, and these guys are going to be at the forefront of it. I'm sure we're going to see them again next year. Once again, well done to Igor, to Mikhail, to Cody, and to all the competitors here in the World Finals, the regional finals, and online too. What a few weeks it's been.
It's been absolutely incredible, and I want you guys to know, if you've listened to a lot of the conversations we've had on the stream, and actually some of the conversations that we've been hearing around here, this is only the beginning of this kind of competition for Gran Turismo. So I know there's a lot of you guys out there who are at home, you play GT on your PlayStation, you've been watching these finals, you need to go to the website and try and be here next year, because trust me, this is only going to get bigger. It's only about, if only half of the things they've been talking about that we've heard come to fruition, it's 100% worth your time, because I know you guys out there that play this game and love it, and you could be standing on that podium next year. You just have to get involved. So please do go and check out those details on the website.
Yeah, grand-turismo.com for all the info. Look at that, Igor Fraga there with Mikhail and with Cody. Such sportsmanship that we've seen throughout. And do you know what, Igor as well, and our manufacturers series winners from yesterday, those guys are going to go to the FIA Awards on the 7th of December and stand up alongside the Formula 1 world champion Lewis Hamilton and all the rest of the FIA champions. As Graham Stoker said, you know, and you've got to take it from him, this is not virtual racing, this is real racing. These are real drivers and they are real champions.
This is it. We have enjoyed every moment of it. We will see you again next year. From all of us here, it's goodbye.
Thank you, goodbye.